All right. And we are live. The last word with LordCognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy Travis, and some illustrious guests at the Destiny Campfire that I cannot wait to talk to before we get into all of that. Let's start with the cheetah himself, Ebontis. How are we doing, sir?
Doing good. Spent a lot of time in the dungeon this weekend and also got a puppy. Not really a puppy. We rescued
Well, what did you do in Destiny?
Yeah. I can't. I can't with him.
Played a lot of the dungeon, tried a little Iron Banner. I got a dog, so I now have 3 huskies inside of my house. So some people probably consider me a little crazy, but we rescued him. He's not even a year old. He still definitely has some more puppiness to him. So he's been a handful, and yeah, that's been a lot of it. But we have some guests coming, so I don't want to take too much time. So Travis, what about you?
Yeah, I'm doing games coverage. I'm reviewing a game called Mario Strikers Battle Arena for IGN. Doing some previews. Had a few previews go live, and since the last time we talked, Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed, classic,
Wonderful.
classic.
Reprobed?
Reprobed, yeah, no, not remastered. They went up your butt twice. Yeah, it's a game about aliens, so it's on brand.
Okay.
Yeah, so just and also spending time in both my earthly dungeons and also my digital dungeons in Destiny. So lots of good times to be had inside Destiny these days, aren't there?
Not even gonna touch the earthly dungeon. We gonna move on.
Yeah.
Well,
what about you, Kyle?
Ebontis certainly did. He's my master.
I can't with Trav today. Anyway,
it's going to be an interesting one, everybody, and we're not even halfway through. So
yeah, we got started, man. Yeah,
Doc, what about you, man?
Been good. Just been bouncing around, man. So much going on. We got shows. We got PlayStation just did a state of play.
It's June in video games. So.
June. It's gonna be nuts. We got prediction shows, all type of stuff going on. So it's absolutely crazy for me. But I did not want to miss this. And Teddy knows my secret. I was scrambling last minute. I've been so busy. I didn't get a chance to touch the dungeon until today. And I literally was scrambling to the last second. But yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk. But we got some cool guests, man.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do a little group intro here. So not going to be anything too crazy. Not going to be anything crazy, a little off the cuff. Just, so here we go.
Wow.
Welcome to the last word, episode 201. For those of you astute or calling me out, 200 is going to be at a different date, so we're saving that one for later. So this is 200, 201. You guys figure out what you want to call it, but it'll be labeled 201. That being said, the dungeon is here. Iron Banner is very divisive, and sparks are flying all over the place. That being said, we are joined by some amazing guests this evening to have quite a discussion about kind of the different hot takes of the world of Destiny right now. So one of our guests this evening is a usual sporter of a tinfoil hat and has one of the widest smiles that you've ever seen. He will light up an entire room. There it is. Another man just got back from vacation, coming in hot off of the jet lag with the amazing locks, always looking very, very well taken care of, but also enjoys shredding on the guitar if you listen to him. And then finally, the man with more technology, retro rigs and monitors and cables and everything else in his room. There is no question there are 14 fire hazards behind him on screen, much less anything else. So let's welcome CbGray, Skarrow9 and Teasing Teddy, all returning to the campfire. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing?
Yo, doing great. Thanks for having us on.
Howdy. Yeah, heck yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure.
Family's in the building. I feel like these are like the OGs for like last word. Like I feel like these are like the ones that really got us jumping off on each on an individual level. Like real talk. CB, gotta salute you, man. I love to see your journey, man. It's so cool to see what you're doing. And on a personal level, I love that you're doing better. So the salute to you. Skarrow, this is my brother. We always have a friendly little spar, but I love it. I love what he's doing. The content is amazing, and the boy can rip on the guitar. I still think the one that you did for Revenant was just outstanding. I love that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Teddy, the homie. You already know my Warlock brother, my tech brother. If I'm on Destiny and it's like 3, 4 in the morning, I see Teddy, I know I'm on too late, but it's like, all right, I got to talk to him because I'm on too late, but it's like, yo, we got to talk. We ain't talking about. But salute to all of y'all for coming through. I just want to give y'all love for pulling up at the campfire.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
On the flip side, too, congrats on the big 200.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
That's
Yeah.
that's a lot to do anything 200 times is super impressive. So just congrats on the grind and keep it up, y'all. Like, it means a lot
I
to the
take full
community.
credit for all 200 episodes.
And Travis has been a wonderful addition to the show.
I'd also like to state as a counterpoint that I don't like any of our guests today. I feel like sometimes you get too much love, so I'll be the counterweight to that, and I'll just say,
Damn, me neither. Really.
You know, in a Telltale game, when you say something and it says like they'll remember that, I'll remember that.
Like the Bethesda text. Yeah, everyone will remember that.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sharing a room with Teddy in T-minus 7 days. So yeah, a hotel room. It'll be,
Oh yeah, GCX.
it's gonna be
Are we
a little-
all
Which
going
ones-
to be there?
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Skarrow, you gonna be there?
Where?
BCX, you going?
GCX.
No, not this year. Not for me.
You
Yeah,
just got
next
back
year
from
for sure.
vacation, right?
Just got back from it. It was really funny because I was like, when we were planning it, because we originally had tickets for pre-pandemic and they carried over or whatever. And I was talking with my wife, and we decided this year, Florida and restrictions and stuff, and with me going into the final year of my PhD, I don't want to take any chances. And I was like, yeah, Florida. And then this concert or this festival came up in Malta, and it was like, we're just going. I was like, well, some people are going to think that's a little bit hypocritical. So, but the EU has way stricter restrictions for this shit.
Really?
So, you have to be vaccinated. You have to get negative tests to enter countries and stuff. Way better.
We did
And
one
so-
vacation to. We took a trip to Barbados like last year as well, and same thing. It's like you notice everybody else takes this way more seriously than we do.
Yeah,
so if you go other places, if you're coming back, you're like, oh, I got to take a test just to get out of the hotel room. But flying into the United States, it's kind of like, do I need to do anything? Nope, just come on.
Yeah, so the only requirement for us for the United States is now you have to have a negative test within 24 hours of your flight back. But we flew the only airline that still requires masks and stuff, and it's like, so it was just a little bit, I think, for us in our comfort zone and our loved ones and stuff, that was just kind of the right move. But next year, I hope everyone enjoys it. I hope you guys are gonna have a great time. I'll be on Twitter being all jealous, but next year, I'll be there for sure.
No doubt. What's
Yeah.
going on in this game, E? What's going
Yeah. So since the podcast happened last week, which was just us kind of at the start of the season, things happened over the weekend. On Friday, we had the dungeon launch, which I know Skarrow jumped into live after his trip. I still don't know. You might have been a little delirious, but that's fine. We also got Iron Banner. We've got Rift back in the game. And before we get to those, I wanted to get the initial impressions of the season from our guests. Like, where are you at with regards to seasonal activity? Not the dungeon yet, not Iron Banner, but the seasonal activity. How's the story treating you guys? How's just Season of the Haunted coming out of the shoot for kind of first week and a half for you? Eddie, you can go first if you want to. You've always got an interesting take.
I don't like it. But I don't want to be I don't want to be super Debbie Downer. So I think the story is fantastic. I think they've really nailed that formula now at this point. But I'm kind of over the Leviathan, and I just don't care for it.
Wow.
And the event itself, well, cool. Like the first time is kind of whatever. After
Travis is
the 10th time. At least the rewards are good, so that's a plus. These public event type of stuff tend to have kind of not a great loot chase. So that's the TLDR. I mean, again, I don't want to be super Debbie Downer, so I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Well, by facial expression, counterpoint, Skarrow?
The opposite of everything. Yeah, like, so the loot's great.
So he thinks the loot is bad. Yeah.
As a metalhead, this season the aesthetic is like just freaking perfect. Just perfect. Great job to everyone on the design team for all of that. I'm not sick of the Leviathan. I miss my daddy Callus a lot. Yeah. The Leviathan raids, they just, I don't know, man. I like all the raids, maybe not Vogue, but I like all the other raids. And
he was doing so well, and then
yeah,
no,
he's gotta get that jab in where he can.
It's any opportunity,
I love it, man.
But just like, oh man, the Leviathan aesthetic has always been like my favorite. Like anytime you look up my character in the game, I'm just some gold looking ass running around every time. That's just me, you know? And you combine that with a metal aesthetic, and it's just like, oh my god, dude, it's perfect. The public event Castellum thing is fine. The seasonal activities are never like the best, you know, whatever. The weekly story mission, the Sever mission, they're cool. They are what they are. But from a seasonal standpoint, I love where the story is going. I can't wait to see where it goes, and just overall theme and aesthetic of the season, it is 10 out of 10 for me. So
Ooh, very high, very high.
CbGray, sir.
So I'm somewhere blended.
Okay.
So which is actually kind of nice because I guess we're hearing both contrasts. So I'm kind of like, so first off, to start about what I love, loot is great. Like I definitely like the loot too. I like the chase. I mean, I've grinded a bunch and I still barely have any reds, which I kind of like those grinds. It kind of like makes me miss like the days of like grinding like, you know, EP shotguns and things that just never drop and you're just grinding your head at stuff for stuff to drop. Like I kind of like weirdly like that stuff. I love going back to Leviathan. My favorite raid is Spire Stars. So just like what Skarrow said, going back to Leviathan for me is also very, very nice. And with that being said, the aesthetic is very, very nice too.
Huge respect for that, by the way.
It is what it is.
We making friends here on the podcast.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Can I ask a follow-up question
with you guys?
Most definitely.
CbGray, have you played any other raids aside from
every single one 50 plus?
Now I'm officially confused.
With that being said, I mean, in general, Warmind, I just think doesn't get the credit it deserves for what it did to the game.
Hard agree.
So
I agree.
People don't realize what Forsaken did with the Whisper, with everything that it did to set up Forsaken. It was the alley-oop that loved Forsaken.
I would agree with that.
We can get that. We can get into that a different day.
I'm not gonna let you ride off that spire. I'm gonna let you finish your thought, but we're gonna get back to that spire.
Cog, I love Vault of Glass. I love you, brother.
I love you too, brother. We need
So lastly, though, all I was going to say is with me, the one thing that I'm hoping that's like it's left for me to be desired is the story's great. I like the public event for what it is and Sever for what it is, but I'm hoping that they expand where we're not just always in Sever going to Gauntlet and the public event only being Dogs and Bath. I would love to see it expand to Drain, the Armory, the Conduit. The Leviathan's just so vast, and it just feels like we really only got a tiny little portion of it. So I'm hoping that over the season things evolve, or else I feel like it's going to be stagnant. Like I would hope not to be in August still running around in the dog room, or in Sever still in Castellum. That's gonna, that's the part for me. I'm hoping that we see some evolution in maybe Zavala's story or Caiatl's.
I bet Containment will stay the same, but Sever, I bet like we haven't seen anything with the outside of the Leviathan yet.
Mm-hmm.
I bet like Caiatl's, because it's like pretty obvious. It's going to be her and Gaul, right? And I bet that scene, I can just see it set on like the old entrance for the Leviathan on the Gold Bridge, and you're just like looking out over the moon or whatever. Like that's like perfect. I bet that's what it'll be.
Exactly. Well, I was just going to say from the trailer, there was one like the portal in the Gauntlet room where you jump into the ring, like to face him. That same looking portal is in the loot room of the old OG Leviathan raid, like where all the Kalos robots are on either side.
Sure.
Exactly.
That's why I was like, I'm wondering, like, first two seem to be with like Gauntlet. Hopefully the next couple.
So that's what I'm praying with. If we're in loot room for Caiatl, awesome, and then maybe Zavala if we're in, anywhere else. It could be anywhere. It could be outside, like Skarrow said. It could be in Conduit. It could be in the fans. Remember the fans area? It could be anywhere. Just expand Leviathan. Right now, it feels small to me.
I like one. It's a super small thing, but usually what Bungie does when they do these seasonal rotations, they'll do like mission 1, 2, 3, augmented mission 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But this time it's really cool with Crow. Like Crow, it wasn't Crow Zavala Caiatl, Crow Zavala Caiatl. It's Crow, finish Crow. And then I think that's cool as well. It I don't know, it had more short-term finality to these storylines, which I think serves the season's narrative well. But we'll see how that changes. We still have 4 weeks at least of narrative, probably 5, but we'll see. So
I think there's 7 steps to the quest. So we've got probably 2, 2, and 2, and then some finisher,
like a culmination one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so that was kind of the impressions on the first week. Wanted to kind of get
Wait, what about you guys? Yeah, what are you?
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Like for me, I'm probably somewhere in the in between as well.
Okay.
When you log in at first, you're like, cool, running around doing Nightmare Containment, awesome Sever. You got to see Crow, and you're like, oh, that's all we get. And it's kind of that, like, you get the realization of like, hey, it's cool to have something that we haven't even seen in a while. But it's also, especially this week when Nightmare Containment didn't move, which I had very minimal expectations, but I wish it would actually change locations, but no other location is set up for it. So I'm not too surprised about that one. It's just a different boss sitting in the same spot. So that's like, it's fine. It's there. And then like, if you go through and you get all the triumphs in the other areas by finding all the bosses, which doesn't take that long, you kind of realize there's not going to be that much more reason to explore. So then you realize if you want to start grinding out your reputation, you want to grind out the guns, the opulent frames, all of that type of stuff, you realize it is going to be a whole lot of the same. So when that kind of sets in, you're like, your grade kind of goes a little bit down. But then, I mean, you get like Ostringer, you get some of the new weapons and stuff. They look pretty cool. So it's kind of, as you guys said, the loot's good. Location's a little different. We'll get to the dungeon here in a minute, which definitely kind of gives a little bit of change to the overall feel. But as I see, because the dungeon, technically you can buy that thing separate if you don't buy the season of the Haunted in and of itself. Story, very curious to see where it goes. I'm gonna guess that we're gonna go, sorry, I have a dog, I have to watch him in here. Crow, then we're probably gonna go Zavala, because we don't know anything about Saith,
Right.
or Said, I forget the name. And then I'm guessing the culmination logically for would be Caiatl. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my guess of the 6. So
Yeah.
overall, it's been interesting, but it also feels like it could turn into one of those, because we're not going to get like a raid and then a master raid. We're not going to get, we've kind of seen everything. It could turn into a Tuesday game if you're playing other stuff. It could do that. So it's just, it has. Sorry, if you guys are listening to this on audio, dog has rope and just like whipping it around everywhere. So yeah.
Dog doesn't like the season.
I'll jump real quick. Yeah, I'm in the middle. I think I see where Teddy's going, which is the long-term thing, and being kind of like a glorified public event on some level. But I am with Skarrow. I love the Leviathan aesthetic so much that I am still a victim of nostalgia. I still am a victim of the opulence, the goldness, and all the callous sayings and the lore. And I really do want to know more about him. I know we'll get into the dungeon and talk about that. But the Crow story, I thought, was really good. They really try to expand and give him some finality. I was surprised to see a part 2 to it, to be honest, and move him along and get it going. Because that's my only thing with him, like Travis being, you've talked about it. It's like, Crow, I need you to grow up and mature and let's go. Like, I feel like we've dragged on with him for season after season. So I was a little happy to see progression there and some finale, him kind of conquer his demons, so to speak. But honestly, my fun different, CB. Like, my fun is not, I recognize the season for what it is, right? I could see where this is gonna go, and I'm not. It may be the Tuesday situation, but my fun has been Solar 3.0. I slept on it. I
think everyone
it's nice.
did,
It's
dude.
nice.
I came in negative.
I think everybody was looking for volatile rounds.
Yeah.
It just felt like
Yeah,
everybody wanted
exactly.
solar volatile
Bro,
rounds. That's what it was.
And then when it started hitting, dude, it just like, it was like around Saturday.
Yes.
So all of the Reddit, all of Twitter was just like, look at this build. It's like, that's shit takes time,
Exactly.
Like,
I agree.
The Fusion Star for Prime Protocol build that I got right now, with the other aspect where it does that extra pop on the grenade, on the fusion grenade.
Yeah.
Bro, like at first I was like, damn, Titans are shining right now. They got the nice build. Hunters, Warlocks, what's going on? Like, I was feeling away. Like, I was looking at all the stay alive builds, the resilience builds, and I'm like, where's my love? But I have to front, like, the software protocol. And what's those boots? Those
boots are really good.
The linears?
They're really good.
Yeah.
And you get radiant all the time. And
you're always reloading all your weapons.
Bro, and you can use it in PvP. CB.
Yeah, no, it's
nice.
It's nice. And now they've got that Icarus change coming too. So
we'll talk about it. But that's what. So my fun has been in the builds.
That's fair. That's fair.
But Trav, bring us down to earth on this season, because your face says it all.
Yeah, no, y'all are a bunch of Destiny simps, and somebody needs to put you in line. So yeah, I said that the seasonal title for this, the Season of the Haunted, is a very apt name. I said that last week, and I stand by it, because Destiny itself is haunted. It's haunted by its engine that is cracking and breaking under the weight of its age, which we're now seeing in that. It's haunted by its storytelling issues and its croap opera, as I call it, with dealing with Uldren and all that for multiple seasons. I'm hoping that it'll be over. But yeah, that we'll see. We'll see if they continue on with that. And it's also haunted by the fact that, this whole vaulting thing, it seems like the vault is sort of just being used as a way to resell you the same content. They got the Leviathan out of the vault. They gave it a nice little once over with some black paint through some spooky some spooky moon vibes in there through the phantoms from the old what is it? Shadowkeep game, threw that in there, and now they're just having you run around. So I don't know. Second week, it still feels very bare bones in terms of the amount of content that you're given. I agree with everyone that the story is good. I disagree about the weapons. Not that they're bad. I just think that you've seen. I mean, how many new weapons are there? They're again reissuing a lot of the same weapons. Yeah. Well,
there's 11 new. There's the opulent 4 that I can think of offhand, at least.
A lot of the same, reissue weapons, which we've litigated a million times, and kind of the issues with that. I'm not feeling great about the season so far. I thought the dungeon was good. I played the dungeon and over the weekend thought it was fine, but I just I think there's a reason that we didn't see a trailer for this game.
Oh, it's coming full circle with you with the trailer.
I don't think Bungie agrees with that at all. I mean, I don't think that's why they held
Bungie doesn't agree with that. That's why I'm right.
No, but I mean, the way that was worded was like they knew people weren't going to like it. I think they knew they didn't need marketing because people were going to like it. I think the aesthetic carried the entire.
I agree with Skarrow, because the trailer reaction, people freaked out.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think Bungie and I there's obviously different approaches to the game, but I do every triumph, I get every seal and stuff, and I have too much shit to do. Like, I cannot keep up right now. It's like grinding for all this stuff.
Yeah, it's Star Wars though.
Some people enjoy that, right? Like that's what half of Destiny has been since triumphs were introduced in Forsaken. So, I mean, content. Some people run content once or twice, and that's fine. Some people checkpoint farm like Garden of Salvation. That's fine. But it's like the new evolving model for Destiny is very much like, hey, these are the activities. Here are optional things to keep you playing the activities, but not everyone does it. And so I get why people don't like it, but I feel like if you're approaching it like that, you're only ever going to like the major expansions, and that's it. Right? Just the huge drops of brand new content that you can do a couple of times.
Well, I mean, I think we used to get a little bit more from these sorts of expansions. Maybe not in the seasonal model, but there have been good seasons. There have been seasons I like, and I just think that this one is definitely one of the more lacking ones. And yeah, if you live in the Destiny bubble and this is all you play and you go after every season, you'll have stuff to do. My question is that stuff good? Are you enjoying the stuff that you're doing? And I would just say, like, the grind that I have in front of me, if I want to get all those seals and stuff, it's not a pleasant one. It's me doing the exact same activity inside of the Leviathan, a space I've already been to, basically doing the that opening encounter you had to do to get to each encounter when you're in the Leviathan. Right?
Castellum.
Yeah, Stellum stuff. It's you doing that sort of thing. And I don't know if that's worth, a purple name over my head or the odd weapon that I probably already have a pretty decent version of, something like that.
Everything worth that Iron Lord. Everything worth that Iron Lord title.
Teddy,
I'm not saying there isn't plenty to do. They're keeping the treadmill well fed for the people who want to run on it. I'm just asking, is that treadmill a fun experience? And I would say, unless you're really, really willing to kind of close your eyes and grit your teeth and go through it, it's not, it's not my favorite experience they put into the game.
Sure. One thing that's kind of related to that I'm really interested of is, them bringing back all of these experiences. I know we'll get to the dungeon, but for instance, the tribute hall is in the dungeon. And like, how much work would it have been for them to like just bring back the tribute hall?
I wish they would have. It definitely was like everybody was expecting once we saw tribute hall for
because Bungie's made clear that like the reason that everything's not just brought back is because when they put stuff in the DCV, it has to be completely reworked to work with the new engine updates. They've said that 100 times. but like it's in the game. Like the space is in the game. They've reworked those assets. So like what's there's a missing piece here that I'm not seeing, and I don't know. And it's the same thing with like the Leviathan raids. Like all of those spaces have been reworked. They're in the game right now. We can go access them. So like what's missing?
Partially, I'm gonna be real, and I don't know when it's gonna happen, but there's, at least from a technical standpoint, I know there's limitations in the background of keeping last gen alive. And I just don't. I don't know. I don't know when we're going to be able to walk past it because of the scalping situation. And in my opinion, they probably would have needed to say something around now if Lightfall was going to leave PS4 and the old Xbox. But I think we're about at the point, from at least a technical standpoint, where they were struggling to develop King's Fall because they were developing it, trying to make it work with PS3 and Xbox 360, and so I think there are things in the background that we don't quite understand fully. So I try to give them a pass on that, but I really do hope that we can, if it's not Lightfall, then Final Shape, move on to the next generation of Destiny, because I think at least the developer in me is thinks that's what it is. Because if not, I'm with you, Scare. I think it's an easy win. To bring that in. So that's what I think, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Me and Eve been kind of blaring that trumpet for the longest. Let's say, as far as like, it needs to happen. But again, it's all about the analytics and the user engagement that they're seeing on those older platforms. And I think they need to be more comfortable. And then just think about, Teddy, too, the adoption rate of these new consoles, right? How many people really have next gen for them to kind of maybe justify the full cutoff? So I think those are internal discussions, again, like CB said, that maybe we're not privy to. And that's why, but I'm with you for selfishly. I would like them to get a pink slip for their console.
You guys ever go and hang out with like your casual friends that are, play a few games? Like I went to a wedding this weekend, and I'm an extreme gamer. They're like, they've got and it was so weird hearing that everyone's still on the PS4 and Xbox One. Like everyone there, they were like, "Oh yeah, I got PS4. I'm thinking maybe I'll upgrade PS5 maybe in 2023. I'm not really sure." Stuff like that, and it wasn't really even on their mind. It was like everyone, and then they were like, "How about you, Travis?" And I was like, "I got them all, man. I got OLED Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X, 4 Series S's," and they were like, "What is wrong with you?" That's a separate conversation. But
love it.
I would be willing to bet that most people playing Destiny, they're probably they only have one game.
They are. You're right.
Why do they need to buy a PS5 when the only game they play is on PS4? Destiny.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And that's what I think. Yep, that's
a good point. Yeah.
Well, that kind of gets our feel of the season so far. Nicely well-rounded, I would say, everybody. One thing I did want to ask you guys each, favorite gun so far that you've got from this season?
Storm Chaser by far.
Ooh, we got that Storm Chaser.
I haven't seen it yet.
I have auto-loading, firing, liquid coils, and charge time.
Oh, that's just...
I've run it like 40-something times, so I finally did get it. And
wow,
it's ridiculous.
Nice.
Wow. Every single one when you fire. Oh, my bad. I was gonna say, every time with firing line, if you're shooting all 3, you're getting like 46 on like all 3 of them.
Jesus.
And I've heard it's just busted.
So it's a triple. It's in a different style.
Shot burst, linear fusion.
Burst. Yeah.
Wow.
But each 3-round burst only uses one bullet.
So every bullet, I'm over 100K.
It's doing so. It does like per burst, like 3 times as much damage as a single shot of reeds, and it shoots faster than a single shot of reeds.
Yes, and I've charged time on it.
I blood, sweat, and tears for that damn reeds with the fuck. You mean to tell me already it's been outclassed?
And the intrinsic perk for Duality is if you get hit, you reload faster, and then pretty much every boss fight now you're getting hit. So you get like free rapid hit just like that.
My reeds is sitting in the vault. Bro.
Yeah, reeds is. It was good for half a season, but it's time to move on. It's a Stormbreaker meta. So
Jesus, what is it? Is it Arc? Is it Arc? What is
Arc? It's Arc.
I think.
I thought it was Stasis. No,
I'm a login.
Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Reeds Stasis. Wait, so it's already beaten What's the Val one? Cataclysmic? Linear?
It way outclasses Cataclysmic.
It's Arc. You're right. It's Arc.
Okay. Yeah, it's not even close. Like I missed the whole launch of the dungeon, and people were telling me about it last night, and I was like, "There's no way," because everyone's like, "Oh, this shit is just busted," and so I was like looking up clips, and it's like that it's getting nerfed. Like, there's no way it's not. Right? It's like stupidly good, which is pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna spend a lot of time farming for it because it's a beauty for sure.
No doubt. What other weapons you popping, Sparrow?
I haven't gotten that one yet. I'm still looking for it. I've been rocking New Purpose, the pulse rifle from the Stasis pulse rifle. Yeah. I got a roll with Desperado and Perpetual Motion, so it's essentially the same as Messenger, but it's way cleaner. It takes up less of your screen. The sights of the duality thing is just like it's like the 2 dots. It's beautiful.
Skarrow, I just got it last night. How's Desperado feel now that they've tweaked it?
It's definitely slower.
It's slower.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's probably about half as fast as it used to be. It's still very good. Especially if people are running around. I don't know if you guys saw this, but with Radiance and Messenger with something like Kill Clip, you 1 burst, and so with Desperado, you like 1.5 burst. You're killing people in like 1.5 or 2 bursts, and it's so fast. And so the time to kill is getting kind of absurd with some of these combos. So
it's power creep starting.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Feel like a sunset and maybe.
It's like when Bungie said they wanted 7. Yeah, it was like when Bungie said they wanted 70% of Crucible to be guns. I didn't expect Call of Duty guns. Like I expected Destiny guns. It's very. It feels great though. I recommend CB try it out because it feels very good.
Yeah, I just got it to drop last night, so I'll try it.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Nice.
Teddy, what about you? Any high points in your season so far?
Old reliable Funnel Web, which is actually just Recluse.
Yeah,
still rocking it.
I had 200,000 kills on Recluse, and I'm approaching probably like 40k on Funnel Web, and until something outclasses that. Taking it off.
You taking it off? Okay.
And you like that more than like the mini tool with Incandescent? Because that's probably my second favorite. That's my second favorite. I really like it a lot. When you get that, try it out because it made me take Funnel Web off.
I haven't had time to. I didn't play a lot the first week, so I didn't really get to like the grind. And then this week that was my goal, but then Iron Banner came around. And I played that for the last 2 days, so I'll get to
give that a shot. Yeah.
I know the red border farm isn't too great this time around, so it's
lots of running in circles.
yeah.
Lots of that. I'm a T1 vet, so I'm used to that. It's grabbing mats.
Yeah, for me, it's funny because I haven't got any good rolls on a lot of the new stuff yet. So it's been a lot of also surprisingly, I've been like testing a lot of the buffed stuff. And machine guns is in a really good place. The 360s, I have like an Archon something with a auto roading and rampage, and it hits hard. Like I'm just like, yo, but I feel the buff of legendary machine guns on that. Leviathan's breath is outside. I'm letting y'all know right now. That thing always
the bow.
I'll have to try it.
Yo, Leviathan's breath is ridiculous. Like it's the second blast because you get the first one, Archer's tempo hits, and right when you're about to shoot your next shot, you get that poof damage. Right. So it almost feels like lasting impression now is on top of the initial shot. Leviathan's breath is stupid. Go ahead, CBU.
Does that have intrinsic? Is it unstop on it?
Yes, and that's what I've been using. Intrinsic unstop as well.
I'll give it a try. Yeah,
dust off the Leviathan's breath. That's been good. What you call it? The air apparent not that bad on DPS either. I was messing around with that. And the last one is, even though I'm not a sniper guy, I finally got my first incandescent roll with Beloved. And I'm like, yo, this is nice. That I can't wait to get the one you got. You said the what is it? The mini tool.
It's very good with the
Callus mini tool. That's
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet, but yeah, I've been kind of messing around with the older stuff, and then obviously with stuff we talked about with Vex is just stupid right now in conjunction with the Warlock boots and stuff like that. But yeah, it's mostly old stuff. I haven't got good rolls. I got the auto. I think it's a 450 precision. I think I got like a Dagio on it. I will say it's very accurate for a 450. It doesn't jump around a lot, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, I'm still waiting for some better rolls. But what about you, Trav? Any weapons? Any old favorites? Anything you've been messing around with weapon wise?
Yeah, I finally got a good roll of Callus Mini Tool, and that's been hard to get rid of. It's a great.
That one just feels good. For 900's always hit or miss, but man, that one just brought it back. It's good.
It's very much in the PvP meta right now, so that's been my go-to.
Agreed.
Wow. Nice.
Oh, also Trespasser. Jesus, dude.
Oh, Trespasser.
Unbelievable in PvP.
Yes.
Disgusting in PvP.
I haven't tried it in PvP yet. Yeah.
It's really good.
What's that new Stasis fusion rifle from
Riptide?
Crucible?
That thing's good too. That thing's good.
I got a perpetual chill clip, or I'm sorry, not perpetual, a compulsive chill clip, and that is beautiful.
Yeah. What about you, E?
I busted Xenophage back out of the vault, and I've been having so much fun. It just feels good. They finally got the rate of fire back up, and then with solar, and then now you've got the exotic, or the mod where exotic solar weapons can make wells, and then it's a nice combination amongst other things. So no, I've been having fun with Xenophage, and then the Inyo D. It's a little SMG. It's like a 600. Yeah, that one feels. I got like a Feeding Frenzy, Rampage, something like I got like a really good roll on it, and it just kind of feels very solid and reliable right now.
Is that a PvP or PvE?
I think PvE.
I'm using that in PvE right now, just as like kinetic for stuff.
I was calling it Baby Antiope.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, what's up with the name though?
Yeah, it's like Inyo D though.
Inyo D.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got first drop of the season. I literally loaded into the castle and the containment, got a random drop, and it was a Rampage Feeding Frenzy Inyo D. And it's just like I haven't used it yet, but it's like it's got range masterwork, extended mag, extended barrel, like everything you would want on it. Haven't touched it, but maybe I will. But yeah, I'll check it out. I totally forgot I had that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Good. There's been a couple nice surprises. We got a solar legendary bow. I don't have a good roll on it yet, but that'll be coming from Vanguard. So good to see that's back in the mix as well. Very nice. So yeah, big thing that launched after the last podcast, Dungeon. So we didn't know anything about it going in, and we now have Duality. So it is here, takes place, as you guys said, kind of starts out in the Tribute Hall, and it's an interesting one. I've heard kind of some people having some like, hey, we want enemy density. Oh, it's too much. And then it's this kind of weird little back and forth that we're kind of hearing. So I wanted to get your guys' takes on it for those, which I think everybody's played at this point. So Cog, you might be fresh. I want to let you go first. Yeah.
I might need to go first because I'm literally at the end. So I'd rather you guys talk afterwards because I'm literally at the boss. But look, this thing, Dungeon's always interested in me, how they're going to approach it. And obviously going into Leviathan and stuff like that. So the first thing off the bat, the lore aspect, I'm feeling it. They took the approach with the whole shooting the bells, duality switch, alternate reality switch, what I really like. I don't know how I feel about the aesthetics of the like super red. Like it's like very, I don't know about color saturation or about TV or about OLED, something might be off. Because I'm like, man, this is really fiery. Like it is very hard. Yeah, it is. Yeah, like Jesus, I get it. I'm in another dimension. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like, it's cool. You hit it out the park. The thing that I've noticed that Teddy's probably laughing because he heard me like screaming at. I'm like, yo, I keep dying. I'm like, yo, where are these enemies coming from? Like it felt like Battlegrounds in a dungeon. I'm like, yo, they are coming out of the woodwork. But part of me like it. Part of me was like, yo, this is cool. Like I'm really fighting for my life, and you don't know where it's going on. So I think the last encounter was like 1570 or 80?
70.
It's 70, yeah. So.
Yeah, like 70. Mm-hmm. But look, I'm making sure because I want you guys to go in depth. And please, boy, I do not care because I pretty much know where it's going. I know who I'm fighting, and that is so cool because I'm seeing the vulnerability of Callus on certain levels, and the things he's saying and how he feels about Caiatl and then Gaul's place. And I've always felt their story was interesting. The aesthetic is cool. I like the gong thing, with the last Ikana and kind of stunning her and stuff like that. But so far, so good. I'll let you guys go in depth, but so far, really impressed. If it ends, I want you guys to tell me if you're satisfied after you beat it, because I feel like right now it's like this for me. Like I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it a lot, and I want to know where you guys that beat it in your overall hierarchy compared to other dungeons. So I'll give it to you guys.
I'll get to the hierarchies, so save that for a bit. Eddie, what about you, man?
I liked it. It has a very Zelda-like mechanic where it's sort of using the same space but two different versions of it, and I've kind of always wanted some version of that in Destiny. So I'm glad they've come to that realization and made something. The loot is really good for the most part, as we talked about. Obviously, the linear is like clearly busted, but all the other guns I think everyone's been talking about too have been. It's generally positive. Even the Crown of Sorrow, the two guns that came back. I think the machine gun killing tally. Finally,
I just got a killing tally field prep one. So
I did too. Me too. Which
nice.
Epicurean, the fusion rifle feels out of place though. Does it come with anything good? It just killing tally seems really great on the fixed odds, but it's like the Epicurean when we just got like 3 other cracked fusion rifles. Like, oh, that's a weird choice.
I think the armor set is definitely a miss. I know some people like it, but whatever. I'm not gonna.
No, I'm with you.
Fault them for that. It's fine. But overall, I like the mechanic. I like they've gotten a lot better since like around Shadowkeep of introducing a mechanic, whether it's for a raid or a dungeon, and then just building off that. Whereas kind of before, we sometimes were doing a lot of different mechanics, and then they all culminated at the end. So I'm much happier with this like single through line through.
Quick interruption. Skarrow, is it me? Did I miss when I liked when I saw Cup and Dog and I missed it.
Yeah.
I remember the days when it wasn't like chicken heart, hole through heart, and none of this vile. Travis, you know what I'm talking about.
The simple ones are nice.
That's fair.
It took me back to a joyous time when we would say Travis Cup.
The biggest disparity is Chalice versus Cup. That's like the biggest.
Well, they confirmed it's Chalice. The buff says Chalice.
I did see that.
So one cool little tidbit about that is the order of the callouts for the first and second encounter are the same as Callus's throne room from the original Leviathan. They're in the same order, but for some reason on the final boss Caiatl, they flip one of the sides. It's not the same. So I don't know if that was a mistake or like if it's just a weird coincidence or what. But yes, I do. It's nice having those symbols back. I agree. It's way better than like Black Mesa having a picnic on a Colorado plateau.
But yeah, it was fun overall. Like we did a blind, and I will say that the first time we went to the Nightmare Realm, my reaction was, am I playing Virtual Boy right here? Like, is that what's happening?
That's
the red was really strong, and I'm like, this is a little too much, but I like the aesthetic. It's nice. So overall, it's got 2 thumbs up for me. The triumphs, thankfully, are not like super bad. That's usually you know me. That's if they do bad triumphs, I'm like, oh, eye roll. Here we go. Like. So I do like that the certain triumphs boost your exotic chance for the sword. I think that is like
really
perfect change. Finally, some way. So at least when I get to 40 runs, I felt like I somehow made it better instead of just screaming at the heavens hoping that it drops for me. So, but what about you guys? What do you guys think?
CB, Skarrow?
For me, I mean, I love it. I mean, there's like a lot of things I think in this dungeon to really love. I mean, I don't think it's perfect, but like to start off, weapons. I mean, I already said my favorite one, Storm Chaser, but in general, weapons I think were a huge win, like huge win. And to be honest, I think it's worth recognizing that it's the first time, in my opinion, we've ever gotten dungeon weapons, because I just don't consider. Ias Luna and Matador and like they dropped in the dungeon, but I was using them when I was in college in 2014. They dropped out of the dungeon, but And then if you backtrack to then prophecy,
yep.
prophecy, get things together, and then even before then you got moon weapons that were dropping just on the moon if I did altars anyways, and then to Shattered, retold tale I could get in blind well. So I think it was worth recognizing that it was like the first time we really did get a unique set of weapons and armor. Now, with that being said, I agree the armor definitely did not, I think, live up to the expectations we saw from the weapons. I agree with that. Like, I think you're 100% right on that, Teddy. It's growing on me a little bit as I find some different shaders, but overall, they don't hold a candle to the weapons. Like, I think most people will agree with that. The lore I thought was fantastic. I think giving one of our biggest enemies a touch of humanity was really cool. Like, I think a lot of bosses sometimes, like we go into Garden Salvation, we kill giant robot with no feelings, no emotion, no nothing. Like, that's kind of like the normal trend. We kill big thing. That's just some pure evil, not really anything to it boss. There's some that are different. Savathûn, I think, was a big change to that. And some others have been too. So I'm not gonna say every boss, but it is cool seeing the humanity side to Callus, the regret. The regretting not being a great father, seeing that how much Kaido really did mean to him, and he wanted her to rule the universe with her at his side.
My shining star, right? Did he say
my shining star, how beautiful she was.
He named her after the largest star in the solar system.
And he said she was more beautiful than any star. He had saying saying that, and then even if you get all of the dialogue,
he's a 7 though.
And then even all the dialogue at the end, it even builds up to final shape stuff. Like as you read and listen to some of the stuff at the end, it's like, holy cow, like Callus is about to make this gigantic leap, and give up basically his kind of, I guess, his not humanly form. He's not human, but what he currently is for something greater. And and I just think the lore was nailed, and that was really cool. And to hear the interaction of him talking the whole time was awesome. And then lastly, just in terms of mechanics and how the dungeon plays, I just think it's a very fluid experience. It's buggy to a certain degree. I know people will say it's buggy or that there's a lot of enemies, but overall, I mean, I feel like I blinked and I did 50 runs, and I haven't been able to do that since Outbreak or Whisper. No. I'm legitimately just running it, and it's just therapeutic. I'm able to kind of almost even just, I mean, I don't know. It's just there's some sort of therapeutic aspect for me at least that I haven't felt in a decently long time, and I've been loving just running people through, and we're just hanging out and talking and enjoying it. It's an experience for me I haven't enjoyed as much since, in my opinion, Shattered.
Okay.
And that's just me.
No, I agree with a lot of that. So just to hit on the armor, I mean, is everyone in the world in agreement that the season pass armor obviously was supposed to be the dungeon armor? It's the same aesthetic as the weapons. I don't know why they flip-flopped on it. I wish they wouldn't have.
Oh, we know why.
Yeah, you do.
You see more season passes, fair enough. But I don't know, man. It's a shame.
Even to be fair, though, Skarrow, just to touch on that point, if they would have reversed it, then it would have been 20 for the dungeon pass, I guess.
Yeah, they would have sold more dungeons.
Would have sold more dungeons.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't. We have the armor anyways. It's whatever. The weapons, the rewards from this dungeon are insane. They're also good. The mechanics, like everyone said, they're great. I really love the lore. One thing I think this dungeon does really well that Shattered really missed on and Prophecy really missed on is it is a continuous it does. So for instance, Prophecy, you're going fast and fast and fast, and you hit cube room and it just slams to a halt, and then it's just awful. Same thing with the shield encounter. Same, in Grasp of Avarice, it's you're going, boom, and it's just this. Dungeon doesn't do that. You're constantly going fast. I'd say my one complaint is with everything with the Leviathan, for whatever reason, they love to have 20-minute long traversal sections.
Oh, they love that. Yeah.
They love as anytime Callus is involved, they're like, all right, the longest jump puzzle we've ever done. Yes. Right? But there are cool little tricks to get around it. So in the first jump puzzle where you're hitting the bells and you're switching, there's a couple of parts where you start up high and really, the intention is you hit a bell and you zigzag down the floors, but you can just jump all the way down to the bottom one and just skip 2 or 3. And so there's a couple spots where you can do just stuff like that. the encounters are so fluid. So keep in mind, I didn't get back till last night. I didn't do the dungeon until last night, and I went in solo and blind, and I soloed it all the way up till the final boss, and I got like 2 or 3 damage phases in. Way under leveled because I played 1 day last week before we left, so I'm at like 63 or something, like way under leveled for the final boss, and I was like, this is gonna take too long. So then I've now completed it like 4 times with the full fire team once on master. It flows so well. Like it is all of the mechanics flow very well into each other. It's all very cyclical going between the realms, and I think it all feels fantastic. I love the enemy density personally. I think
I'm a fan of it.
I'm a big like forbearance guy, and that just bigger explosions the more enemies in a room there are. So there you go with chain reaction. And then I've been using the Solar Titan builds and stuff where
forbearance is sick too.
It's not coming off. I'm telling you right now, until Bungie nerfs it, it is in that slot permanently. So I don't know, man. I love this dungeon. Everything about it. The aesthetic, all the mechanics feel very good. Every time Bungie comes out with a piece of endgame content, I'm always like, this is it. This is like, they've done everything. There's no way they can come up with another unique mechanic. And then they do it every time. And it always blows my mind. It's like, I never would have thought about this. So I always think that's kind of cool. But yeah.
Where you at with the dungeon, man?
Me?
Do Travis or Ted? We want to jump in.
Oh, Ted. Gotcha. I think Ted already said his thing. Yeah.
He started us off.
Oh, my bad. You're right. Travis, sorry.
I also like the dungeon. I think to everyone's point, the loot has been quite good. The armor is super annoying. We do know why that was taken out. But business is business. They can't give you armor that's cool for free. Come on. At this point, that's sort of Destiny's brand. Like if it looks super sick, you're like, oh man, I can't wait to pay $10 for that. And if it looks kind of rubbish, you're like, can't wait to grind 40 hours for that. So yeah, that's not new. But the weapons are cool. I like that they put an exotic in a dungeon. It's going to give me more, because I'm not somebody who's really done dungeons a bunch of times, but since this one has a grindable exotic, I like that it's a farmable dungeon. Huge W. You can just play it over and over again. It's really cool.
Sorry, to that point, I have heard that the sword is not farmable, but then I've heard from other people.
I don't think it is on 50, and it hasn't dropped.
Okay.
Damn. I don't think it is. Like,
okay,
I've heard the back and forth too, but it would have dropped me by now. I even have like the collections and stuff.
But everything else is farmable, right?
Well,
everything else is
armor,
farmable.
TV, if that changes,
I'll
the first DM.
I'll DM you first. You'll probably see. I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's cool. I'll probably just do it once a week then in hopes of getting that sword. But yeah, I also do want that fusion rifle, or linear fusion rifle.
Linear, yeah. Where does it drop, y'all? What's your counter? Anyone else?
I'll send you the linear table.
The linear drops the second to last and the last. You can get it from because I've got it from the right before the Caiatl encounter.
Okay.
That's the majority of the time where I get it.
Okay.
I just put the loot table in chat.
Thanks. Perfect.
In this call.
Yep. I see.
Yeah, so that's cool. The core mechanic is also pretty interesting. The environments, again, we're in the Leviathan. Not my favorite thing. And also the Nightmare Realm, in addition to the color scheme, I'm sort of disappointed that there's not really like anything different about the world except for that it's red and you can only be there a limited time. I mean, it has different, there's not different types of enemies there or some like special objective you have to complete or anything like that. It's sort of just like, again, we're using the same space, which, it's a clever way of doing that if you have a limited space that you can put in the game and that it's just an off season. But if I had to nitpick, those are the things I think they could have done better. But yeah, on the whole, I think it's a really solid piece of content, probably one of the better dungeons they've done. I want to do it solo. I actually want to try it this season. We'll see. I have to be higher level. I'm not going to be able. I can't do like Skarrow 1263 and solo it. I can't do that. I could, but it would take me dozens of hours, and I ain't got that kind of time, man. I gotta review some 2 out of 10 games. That's what I gotta do.
Nerf Warriors 2 or whatever.
Nerf Legends.
Nerf Legends.
to the aesthetic point, I don't know if anyone noticed this. I'm sure some people have, or maybe hasn't clicked or whatever. But as you get further in the raid, the Leviathan is turning more into a pyramid ship. Like there's more. You get like Cabal, Case, and Amber before the final encounter, and then you get like the witness statue things and all over the place right before. And so it makes me wonder: is part of the season narrative is maybe Callus isn't claiming the pyramid ship on the moon. Maybe the Leviathan is turning into a pyramid ship, because if in the Severance mission this week they talk about how the Leviathan is constantly mutating and the weapons look like the seasonal weapons
they
look like Leviathan weapons that are being turned into like Vow of the Disciple weapons. They've got the same sort of architecture starting to form. So what if the Leviathan turns into just a pyramid ship? That'd be dope, or like a pyramid-ish ship.
It's gonna be one of the bigger ones, then, I'm sure, because that's huge.
It'd be. I think that would be a cool little twist on it. It'd be very Callous as well. Like,
Moon.
I don't need that ship. I've got my own. I think it'd be cool. So
it's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, everybody's gonna go around. I want in order. I want your number 2 dungeon, and then your number 1 dungeon.
Oh shit.
Man, it's hard now. Who's up?
I'm gonna go the way my screen shows for me, so I'm going CB. You're first. I need your number 2 dungeon.
This one, then Shattered. There you go.
Oh, so number 2.
This is number 1.
So Shatter will always be my number 1 for what it did to the game. For what that did to the Dreaming City. For what it did to the curse, for what it did for the Dreaming City as a space, for the Last Wish unlocking it, for all the lore that came with it, for the Ascendant Challenge and everything all coming together and making the Dreaming City what it was. There's never been an experience since. And I really hope that they change the Savathun's Throne World to start being more interactive with stuff, because let's be honest, it's been 3 months and what are we doing in the Throne World right now? Yeah. Like Shattered Throne did more for the game than a lot of people realize. So that's where I'm at. And then this one is number 2 for me.
Okay. Skarrow?
Oh, it's such a hard one.
I know you got a little recency bias. I understand.
Yeah, I am also. Anyone who knows me knows I am like the biggest simp for recency bias on the planet. Every time a raid comes out, I'm like, this is my favorite raid. Like, no matter what, every time. Except when Vault of Glass 2.0 came out. But it's hard to have recency bias for that.
I mean, raids, what are you going to
do? Oh, man. I might have to go with CB on this one, actually. I really like Shattered Throne's easier. It's less dungeony. It's less intense, but it's very... Like, anytime I'm warming up for anything, or I'll just go like solo the Shattered Throne. Like, it's just a great time. I always enjoy it. It's a great fallback every time. And this one I think has a lot of potential, but I just started playing it yesterday. Like, I don't know. In terms of aesthetics, it already puts it near the top, and it doesn't have any of those super like Grasp of Avarice. I immediately knew that wasn't going to be one of my favorites because of the shield encounter. Like, the one encounter, I was like, this is no.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Same thing with Prophecy. Pit of Heresy's fine, but it's a lot of running. But Shattered Throne is always sweet, short, to the point, and this one I feel like it flows very well. So yeah, probably number 2 for me as well.
A lot of Shattered Throne love.
Eddie?
It's just good, There's nothing.
No, I mean,
it's a classic. It's a classic. I'm not being.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
I'm gonna have to agree. Shattered Throne, for all the reasons that CB outlined. I think that's the best one. But I will differ on my second one. I'll say Prophecy, only because I do agree that the second encounter, or the cube encounter, as well as the encounter in Grass for the shield runner, just kind of ruins the whole flow. But it's the closest thing we've ever gotten to Sparrow racing. And I want that so badly. So when I saw that, and it was Rainbow Road inspired,
that's
fair.
Yeah, that's just, and the aesthetic obviously is like incredible in that raid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this one too. I think I haven't played it that much. I did grind the boss a little bit last week, but I haven't got enough time in yet to like really say definitively whether I like it. But I do agree the flow of this one feels really good. It feels like Shattered Throne, where you're just kind of, it feels like you're constantly moving, but it's not like a Pit where you're just running sort of needlessly and tracking a bunch. And
here's another tunnel.
Yeah.
So.
That's the tagline for Pit of Heresy.
Damn.
Another tunnel. Travis? You are muted.
You are muted.
Might be muted.
Muted my mic. I'm also going to go Shattered Throne on this one.
Wow, unanimous.
As number 1 and Prophecy is number 2. So I guess I'm same as Teddy. My reason for Shattered Throne is the thing I remember most about that one is, in addition to the discoverability and being like, yo, I didn't know that this was here, but I remember as soon as I was finished with it, we went back in because somebody on Twitter or Reddit or something had discovered the secrets and the bow was starting to get discovered. And so we went back into it and we started like searching for that quest line and trying to figure out how to get that bow. And I just remember that being so damn cool on top of an expansion that was already so good and had so much stuff I wasn't expecting. So that's huge. And then for Prophecy, I just think when it comes to dungeon mechanics, I don't think that they've done better than the Shadow and Light thing, because that was such a cool damn mechanic. And I think that's probably the best dungeon specific like raid mechanic that they've ever put in the game. And it was just so cool, like figuring it out and being like, oh, it's when I'm in Shadow or in Light, that's what's causing the difference here. And then applying that to all the fights was just really cool. So I also really like just I like any boss fight where you're chasing somebody down a hallway. I really like that. That's a thing in Dark Souls as well. They'll put like a boss at the end of the hallway, and you have to like survive all of its fights all of its blasts as you run toward it. And so, anytime they do that, I'm sort of a sucker for that fight. You're like running down a hall.
Nice.
Yeah, you can just stand there and have a shoot at them.
Yeah. Chavs don't mind. I don't want to be a prisoner at the moment because I love Duality, but it's too early. I need to process a little more. You know what I'm saying before, but I think it's gonna fall in that 2 or 3 range. You know what I'm saying? But Prophecy is my baby. Prophecy is my baby. I love Prophecy. It's the same thing. He said, I think it has a nice balance of different mechanics. Like Travis said, the light and dark. The boss fight really is fun because what I like about the chasing, also, if you get caught and penalized, you get sent back. And I thought that was an interesting mechanic during a boss phase. I like the aesthetic of the encounters before with the room changing, the structure as you're the cube room. I thought that was cool. Even the vastness of the outside. It's funny because the way y'all talking about Shattered, I should have it up there, and I love it. Like I don't hate Shattered. I guess. I don't know. I just got a weird thing with it. I was just like, okay, I did it. I loved it at the moment. I know what it is. Shattered, I don't necessarily care for replaying all the time. Whereas someone asked me to do Prophecy, I'm in there. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. But Shattered is amazing. I don't want to be disrespectful because CB says some great points. The fact that the curse lifted and then this thing opened up, and then me and you've always talked about seeing where you have to go.
That's one of the biggest things. Yeah,
As
you can see the end from the beginning. Which I love that.
To be fair, you can
the plot here.
You can in Pit as well, though. You can
see down in Pit, but they started with that.
Stir the pot.
I'm going to stir the pot and say, Cog, it sounds like you feel the same way about Shattered Throne as Skarrow feels about Vault of Glass, which is even though
Vault of Glass is
wait. Let me make my argument here.
Let's go.
Oh, here we go.
Even though it's the original, it's the progenitor. To you, it's sort of like the prototype for what ended up becoming more nuanced mechanics, more replayability. Whereas because that's the one thing Shattered Throne doesn't have for it, is it doesn't really have any like mechanical theme around it. It's sort of just you're fighting, it's just you work to the end, and that's so it is. It's sort of like the milk
in a way
dungeon, and that is what that's the biggest criticism of Vault of Glass, is that it's sort of the prototype for all raids to come after. And either you were there when it was originally came out, you have a lot of nostalgia, and it's your number one, or you think it's the worst raid in the world, and it all depends on your perspective. So I see you guys have sort of
a good point. That's a good
point. It's a good point. It's a good point. It's a validity to some of it. I do think I need a little bit more encounters, and that's why Duality is moving up for me a little bit. I like that gong mechanic. I like the stun, and then when she runs at you, whatever. But I need to play it more before
that I think is another big one too that I don't think we touched on enough too. That I would say with all of the bosses besides just in general, like most of them just aren't very mobile.
Yes.
Now Prophecies I'll give. It did teleport and but like it was more just teleporting than stand still. But Caiatl is very active, just like in following that up from Rolk.
Same thing with Galron, though. As well.
Exactly, yeah. Like
so.
very, very active bosses. I think that deserves a little bit of credit too. I mean, one thing I will say, I mean, I'm in love with Shattered, but I don't love it so much that I'm blinded by it. But Dueling Karu just stood there. And you know, after you slammed your knights and got your 3 balls, you went and you blew her up to smithereens.
And
that was it.
That's what it is. I think Shattered Throne, I more appreciate the aesthetic of it as opposed to the actual encounters. I don't feel like the actual encounters. What's that one where you guys you run around, you kill the witches, and
Morgeth.
Yeah. That one, it's cool, but it's like I think that's my only thing. I think I appreciate it more for the aesthetic and what it's doing for the game. And then this is where I'm gonna get on Skarrow now because he being very disrespectful. I'm also not a fan of running dungeons and raids, and I don't feel the loot is where it needs to be. And I'm sorry, Wish Ender ain't my reason to keep coming back.
That's fair. That's fair. I had this conversation with Rick Cactus a couple of years ago, and he really harps on the loot and stuff too. And I think
me and Cactus
I think this comes down to how many times you end up doing a dungeon or raids. I end up having 100 completions of every dungeon, every raid, and it's like loot matters for your first 5, 6, it's like after a while I have everything. I don't get excited when something comes out of the chest. I get excited if the mechanics make me feel good, or if it feels like I'm doing something, or if it looks cool or whatever. And so I kind of get that, but to a certain point I've never really minded that dungeons haven't had great loot, because they've always offered like just a completely unique experience that you couldn't get in Destiny. That's why like I love Eater, I love Spire of Stars. Their loot was it was so bad.
except for our toasty mode, of course.
Exactly.
Except for that.
Only reason I ran in that.
32 runs to get that emote. 32 runs.
But between them, they had 6 armor sets and 4 weapons, and they all sucked. They were all so bad. But I still love those raids. It's very much about, especially like CB, man. Yeah. This guy ran Whisper 1,400 times or some shit.
Skarrow, you're touching on exactly why I like this dungeon and exactly why I love Shattered. Because you're right. I mean, between Outbreak and Whisper, I did them over 1,000 times or whatever. And with Shattered, I've done it hundreds of times too. And I feel like that's where I'm going with this one, because you're right. After 3 or 4 times, let's just be real, we have everything. So it really does eventually just come down to, is this thing fun?
Yeah.
And that's why I love this one. And I think it's why I like Shattered, because you just kind of just start and go. And next thing you know, you blink and you're done. And I'm just, and you're, it's just cool.
There's no abrupt starts or stops.
Yeah, it's just therapeutic.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree.
Completely agree with you.
I got it. E. I got it. This
I don't know how to follow all of this stuff. This is crazy.
Dying to hear
He's going Pit of Heresy as number 1.
Grasp of Avarice
number 1. Grasp of Avarice number 2. Yeah.
There you go.
No, it's like hearing you guys talk, it's very hard to pick. It is really, really difficult, because Shattered Throne, I am with you guys, the fact that Shattered Throne is special. It was the first dungeon in the game, first thing I worked on soloing, first thing, like, not soloing, not the first thing, but first, like, dungeon that we got to solo, and it was post Whisper, so it was like Whisper was kind of lead into like this big dungeon. And then, as you said, CB, is like the effect of what it did to it had story to it, which is one that I actually really do like about this one that we've got, of like Callus talking and kind of understand what's going on, a little bit of the witness, maybe a little foreshadowing, all of that kind of ties in to be cool. Shattered Throne is special because it is one of those, when I played it, I liked it a lot, and then we went to GCX and I saw when they did the panel, and it was Nine Hydras, the developer, and it was like one of the artists in there. It's like, I know she was a big part of that, and it was that revelation, which I never had, because at the start, like, you can see where you're going all the way in, and then you start looking through the whole thing. You're like, oh, I was down there, I was like over there, I was all these different places, and you can go through. It's like some people may not like the aesthetic of just like the grayscale most of the time, which I know some people may not like that look of it, but on the other side, it was just something we had never experienced. And I love that it was built for a solo, so it is doable, but it's just that challenge. And I love that about all the dungeons, period. So it's like Shattered Throne, I'm sitting here trying to like talk through it. This one is very good. I'm enjoying this one quite a bit. I love the mechanics, the switch where you can, when you get efficient, Salta Greppo, I think, did the run in like 22 minutes. So if you guys want to, it's kind
Solo?
of, yeah.
Oh, sheesh.
He went crazy.
My man's hitting skips. Holy.
And then Spappa and them, they're like almost on sub 10 runs, like full fire teams. So yeah, there's some nice speeds going on.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Okay. Yeah, it's like you're gonna get to where you can do it pretty fast. So it's like, then again, if you get to where you can speed run it, is that something that some people enjoy that they haven't been able to do before? But I think if I have to probably pick right now, just because if I take recency bias and know that that's kind of in there, I might go Prophecy Shattered Throne.
That's big for you. That's big for you. I know you love Shattered Throne.
I was like, Prophecy for me is probably one of the hardest times I have fought with a boss. For whatever reason, I just struggled with it. Just the boss fight, the encounter, because the triangular room, for whatever reason, you start and stuff is literally coming from every direction. It's not like you have a good piece of cover in there. There's like little pieces of cover here and there, but it's like you kind of have to move. You have to kill things quick to try and clear out one side, and then you can kind of have a little field. Then you start it over, and depending on how many damage phases you do, if you're doing it solo, it's like 3 or 4, depending on what weapons you're using and stuff like that. And also, it was like the initial, like, this is a boss that moves. This is a boss you have to chase. This is a difference there. And as you said, you had the Rainbow Road. That one's pretty special in there because he had the Sparrow Race. I'm like, all right.
So cool.
Like,
Teddy's on fire with that.
Yeah, so that was, and then again, the aesthetic too. Like, the cube room did something in a space that I didn't think that they would honestly really be able to do. And that's why I was like, I'm really torn between Duality and Shattered Throne being like 2, but 1, 2, and 3 are close. And then that's the thing about Grasp of Everest. I know we got it with the 30th anniversary and it was cool. But like when I go back to think about playing it now, it might be my last one. It might be at the bottom.
It aged real
yeah. Like Pit of Heresy, I want to go back and play now to see how it is. But it's like I've done Pit of Heresy enough. Like it has its moments, but it's like something about Grasp, and especially like the shield piece as well. But I was like, even the ogre piece now, it's like the mechanics, but if you're a solo player and you don't have like huge burst DPS, you're going to be doing like 6 damage phases or something. But it's like it's that little sequence over and over. So I don't know. I think Prophecy for me has like a special place because of the look, but Shattered Throne is a damn close second because it was the first that's right there. So I think that's where I got to put those two. Duality's like a tight third. The other two, they're kind of falling down the list, I think, right now.
Yeah. And with Grasp too, like a lot of it, the novelty was like fan service, which wears off. And then the whole first part of the raid, first quarter, is like traps and stuff, which is funny when you can trick your friends for the first couple of runs. But then every subsequent run, it's like, how quickly can I just like get through this? And then it's
I think it goes back to that fluidity, Skarrow, too, because if for me at least, I think the fluidity gets cut off when you get to the servitor part where you have to start blowing up all the servers. It just feels so slow, and that's the thing that kills me. It kills that fluidness. Like I feel like I'm at a halt and I can't speed it up.
And each of the encounters requiring a different number of exotic engrams for each of their things, their mechanics, I don't like that either, because it really it doesn't feel it doesn't feel
consistent. Yeah, I get you.
It's inconsistent. That's a great word for it. So I don't really like that. I think everything in this new one, Duality, is really good in terms of keeping things consistent. My biggest gripe, and I don't know if this was just me when I was trying to figure it out solo, the first encounter where you are supposed to stand in the rooms that you open and shoot the bell. My only gripe is I don't think that was telegraphed at all. I don't know.
That's a
great point.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone figured that out, because there's no visual indicator, there's no audio indicator. You don't have a buff. Nothing showing on radar
behind that gate. Far away.
And so it's like I get, like, now that I know what happens, like, oh, of course, you're teleporting into a closed room, you're killing enemies. Like, it makes sense there. But I think for a first run, it wasn't telegraphed well. But now that I'm doing it, every time I do, I'm like, damn, this is cool. And it feels good. You're running out of the rooms as quickly as possible. You're like, your Matrix style, like, necking people. You're and you're like, get as much time for the boss as possible. I love that stuff, dude. Feels so good.
So are we all in consensus that Grasp of Avarice may have fallen to the worst? That's right. With the worst dungeon.
It's definitely between that and Pit for me, I think. So
Yeah,
Pit's above grass for me.
I'm in the same bottom two though with Skarrow.
yeah, it's Pit's cool, but a lot of the things again with Pit, like the sword, having to kill the wizard with the sword always takes forever, like way too long.
Yep.
The Shrieker is the only one of the three that's like fast to kill. The other two are kind of grueling, and you have to wait to get your health back and all that. And they're fine. The aesthetic's really cool, but it's a lot. Pit also has that in between encounter that takes forever between the boss and the totems, and it's just like it doesn't need to be there. I don't like it. I don't know. I just feel it's too long. It's too long.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
well,
honorable.
The last thing I'll say too about that Shatter thing that I was thinking about too that did make me like it a lot back in the day too was that every 3 weeks coming, it gave it like a novelty too, or it was like an excitement when it was Curse Week to farm it. Kind of almost like how Whisper would just be Friday. Like it was almost like an event.
Yeah.
You know, I used to like too.
I'm glad they've gotten away from that because that limited time
Me
thing
too,
is more
but
frustrating.
only
But back then,
Only
in the
back
moment,
then,
you were
back
like,
then,
you're like, oh, I really want to run it, but I can't.
Yeah,
You're always like waiting to. Yeah, I
it wouldn't hold up now, but back then it was cool.
No. Well,
Honorable mention.
Oh,
Crota's End.
Okay.
You're not doing that to Crota's End. Come on. You're not doing that.
No. That's the slam that I need.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
it is
bad.
a dungeon.
Top dungeon.
Hey, CB, where are you at on this? Where are you at on Crota's End? What is this?
I also think that the raid layers are just dungeons. To be honest with you,
Yeah, get him.
Bro, try doing Spire Stars with 3 people and tell me how that works out.
Especially
Okay.
with double primary. Especially double primary.
Okay.
That would be double primary. That's a no. With back in the day, at least when it was.
You telling me nobody's done Spire Stars 3-man?
You need 5 people to do it.
Yeah, it's not possible.
You have to have 4 people standing on plates for the final
Not
2
if they're
encounters.
not if the 3 people all have Telesto equipped.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Yeah, that's fair. That breaks every.
There you go.
Where's my
like
opinion?
how giving Banshee Telesto broke the tower.
That is really weird.
That's my favorite thing. They can't even put it in as an animation without it breaking something.
Yeah.
So good.
Officially very broken.
Yes.
Nice.
Man, no, I'm adamant against the whole bring Crota's back as a dungeon thing because it's like, hey, Bungie, this didn't meet our standards, so please make it objectively worse. They were like, no, it's like, I want to see what this shit looks like as a Destiny 2 raid.
I agree with Skarrow because that's the thing. That's what Fault of Glass felt like for me. Like with now, because it seemed like they tried to nail everything that they weren't able to nail the first time in D1. Like because one of the first things was, okay, you can shoot the oracles up at the top with Icebreaker, and who cares what the order is? This time you don't shoot in the right order, you're done. You can't do that. You got to shoot in the right order. And you get to the Templars, like what do we used to do in Templar? Ignore the oracles and just cleanse with the shield. You can't ignore the oracles. You can't cleanse with your shield. You gotta, and then you get to the end and it's like, and you have to shoot the oracles. Like it just felt like they tried to do whatever they failed the first time. So I want to know
Destiny 2-ified.
Yeah, I want to know what they can do in terms of Destiny 2 version.
Just make you not be a hunter and jump across the whole thing, and that's the end of the raid.
A Destiny 2 Crota
exactly.
would be. I bet all 6 people would have to be out there with swords whacking his ass. I bet he'd have just the stupidest shield or something, like I don't know for sure, but it makes me excited. That's why anytime someone's like, "Oh, just make Crota a dungeon," I get, "No, stop!"
Well, unfortunately for you, they've done worse than that, which is that they've put Crota back in the game about 400 times.
That's fair.
He's got nightmares,
eternity boss fight, and it's just like Jesus. Dude. I fought Crota 40 times.
I agree. It trivializes them.
Yeah. Just for the record, I am trolling, but not joking. They have actually put the Crota's throne room in the game as part of the Shadowkeep campaign, or one of the nightmares.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you're right. It's kind of already there in a way. So I don't know. I mean, it could be.
How do you like that? How do you like that, Skarrow? It's not even a dungeon.
It's just
it's a mission.
I like it.
It's a mission now.
I like it better because I had to pay for it again. So that makes me enjoy it more.
Well, low key, they brought the gauntlet back.
That's what I'm saying. So the Leviathan raids are in the game, or the Leviathan is in the game. It's in the game. So
EA
please?
Sports, it's in the game.
Please, I'll buy anyone a beer. I'll give you a hug. I'll write you a nice letter. I just give it back. It's not.
I'm with you.
I mean, if it's basically there, especially if we go explore and we're like, okay, then because we ran through with Syod, or I'm probably getting that name wrong. It's Zavala's wife, whatever. I feel like we ran through like the purple covered floor, so we had like the throne room.
Yeah.
Like it
was all at the beginning.
And then we're gonna
we
go back
visited
and see,
everything.
Yeah, and then I know there's a picture of like the aqueducts with like those little like pipes that you walk on and stuff, because I remember some picture in a trailer, there's like that wall and like the grate and the trees underground. It's like all these things like
robots.
Yeah, exactly. So
the only parts I think we haven't seen are the outside and the engine room, which was like the very center of the underbelly with the fans.
Yeah.
But like we have the rest is there, you know, and I'm sure someone's oobed out of bounds and they've seen, and the rest is there too. I would bet. I just want to know. I hate harping on it for so much, but I just want like a dev update where it's like a written thing of like, look, we brought these assets back. This is why we can't bring the rest of the assets.
It would be nice if we could read those. I'd be really interested.
I would love to know that. There's a couple.
Not to harp on it.
No, there's a couple tech updates that I would love to get some questions on as well, for sure.
Yeah,
because they had to choose between doing that or keeping Eververse well stocked.
I mean, obviously Eververse wins. You know?
Final boss.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Still no glitches, Cog, by the way. Cog and I have a game where we count how many seasons there are. Many bugs in Destiny, but 0 bugs in Eververse, and it's looking pretty good.
She's efficient, man. I mean, she's over there.
What is an example of an Eververse bug? I can't think of a single one.
No, there aren't any. That's our point.
That's the point.
There's lots of bugs in Destiny, but 0 problems with Eververse. Like I was talking about, like how they capped a currency, and when the community asked about it, they were like, "Oh, well, there's data problems." And I was like, "Really?" Because I've never had a silver cap. You know, I've never worried about that problem where I couldn't carry enough silver.
The only thing that was ever a glitch or whatever was the throttling or something. Remember back in the day, that was back
where you didn't.
I remember. That's the only thing I can think of.
I forgot about that.
They got caught.
I think that's the only thing you could put on the list, maybe. But was that a glitch? I can't remember how that went down. I don't know what. How did that go down?
It was
Teddy will give you the history lesson.
Teddy will bring it down.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I do remember it talking about.
Somebody counted pixels on their screen. Like they got some speedrunning community people who do that stuff, and they counted pixels on screen to see what was happening with the XP, because the numbers weren't like adding up correctly, and that's how they figured it out. And then when they got caught red-handed, they were like, "Yeah, we have this mechanic that throttles you." And then they fixed it, I think, with Curse of Osiris, or maybe right before that. But that was like kind of not a great time for Destiny, because the honeymoon phase sort of had ended, and that was before Curse of Osiris. As far as glitches for Eververse, there have been a couple over the years where either like Bright Dust, something happens where it doesn't refund you correctly, or it costs too much, or like the silver won't get refunded. And I will say they fix those things very quickly.
The only other one was the negative debt. What about the negative one too? I thought was that what you're doing? Yeah, because you could have the negative debt. That was funny.
You owe us more to what?
Yes, I remember that one.
And they fixed those really fast.
Expeditiously.
That's server-side hot fix. Like, all right, guys, that needs done in 5 minutes. They've
got like a DEF CON style Pentagon team that's just in a basement somewhere, and as soon as something bad happens, the lights start blaring, and it's like,
it is kind of weird. Think about like how many infinite legendary shard glitches we've had, and infinite password cores, and all this shit. There's never once been an infinite Bright Dust glitch ever.
They make sure that stuff's coming from.
I think the game would get turned on.
Yeah, the server's down.
Remember there was a heavy ammo bug for like 2 years. There was that invisible sprint cooldown bug for like 2 years. Like all these huge, crazy bugs, and then the Eververse. And there was even that time where all the menus were super slow. Remember that? And that
you mean yesterday?
You would see these menus go by super slow with all these frame rate issues, and then you tab over to Eververse and it'd be like immediately. Like, what?
Eververse reserves a very specific spot in the front of your RAM, so it's always the quickest access possible. Everything else in the game sits on your hard drive, but Eververse has the first little block of RAM on your stick of RAM. So
she's on the SSD.
I don't want to harp on them too much, and I've told this story before, but in D1, they when they increased our vault space in Rise of Iron, which was a big like technological achievement. They made this huge post about how they saved 1 megabyte of RAM to get us this extra vault space. But for 3 years in D2, they couldn't give us more vault space until very recently, but they added Eververse everywhere. So I'm sitting here, technical brain kind of being like, you guys freed up enough RAM for Eververse to go everywhere with me, but you couldn't free up just a little bit for that extra vault space I needed. I mean, we got it, so I shouldn't complain. But anyway, I don't want to bag on them too hard. I get it. It's a business.
Yeah, we can't bag on Destiny, guys. We all love it. Bungie, you're watching, and I know you're watching.
I haven't gotten my check yet, if you're listening.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten paid yet, so he's really grouchy today. But look, Bungie, this isn't just our hobby; it's our destiny too. Guys, anyone?
And on that bombshell, no, I'm just kidding. For the top tier watchers now. 2 quick ones, real quick. I'd missed a couple super chats. Vagabondo. $5. Holy smokes. He said he didn't know that many chairs. Yeah, the campfire is very full tonight, but we are having an absolute blast. So thank you guys for being here. Yes. And then also GDO, he said just woke up here in the middle of the night. Want to drop in quickly. He's over in like the Netherlands, if I remember correctly. Thank you for all that you guys do for the community. Keep it up and I'll catch the rest later. So big fans for everybody here on the show. That being said, there's one more thing that launched on Tuesday, and man, it's been spicy.
Oh yeah.
So Iron Banner Rift is back. We have 3 maps that it plays on: Convergence, Bannerfall, and then the new one. What's the new one called?
Dysfunction.
Despacito.
Desperado.
Junction. I think that's Junction.
Oh yeah, Disjunction. That's right. Yeah.
Which I have yet to play Rift on Disjunction yet. Everything has been Bannerfall and Convergence. I have not seen the new map. I have not seen the new map yet.
It's
Rift.
much better for Rift.
That's what I hear.
It's also big. It's very big.
Yeah, I've seen the map 1 match, which you would think, by the way, just for the statistical number of times that I've played Iron Banner, the new map might have a little bit more weight than what I'm getting. Right? Have you guys seen it more? Have you guys seen it
a lot? Actually,
you guys
I've
have.
I've seen it.
I've gone it quite a few times.
Two times this season. That's it.
Wait, really?
That's it.
God, I've gotten it dozens of times.
2 times this season I've played on the map.
Wow.
Yeah, I think me too.
People get bad luck. There should be voting. But
agreed.
Yes,
I agree.
Here's the thing about that map is it's very clearly made for Rift, and it's obviously of the 3 the best map. It's like not even close. And so when you play on the other ones, you're just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Especially
Bannerfall. If you
does not feel like
if you get wiped, they're dunking before you can res. So I gotta say now,
wasn't Bannerfall the original Rift map back in Destiny 1?
Yes. Might have been.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Convergence is set up that way too.
Did they make it for that though? I thought it was in the game before.
Yeah, I think it came out with Rift. I think
you might be right. Bannerfall may have debuted with that.
That just
I think it was they did that like Rockstar bullshit, I think, or whatever. And I think it was Bannerfall and Rift launched like 2 weeks before Taking King. I think if I'm right, this was like 8 years ago. 1 week.
1 week.
Yeah, and I think it came out because of Rift.
Necrochasm was usable. That single week was the only time Necrochasm was actually usable during Destiny 1's lifespan. But I didn't mean
that just goes to show you how much slower we were in Destiny 1 because you could not dunk that quickly. And in this one, it's like it's over. If they wipe your team, you fly across the map.
Well, I think part of that, and I wanted to ask you guys, the one thing I've seen pretty consistently, where are your thoughts on the respawn time? Because personally, I feel it's too long.
That's a hard one, right?
But because I haven't played the new map, so again, that I don't know.
I think you have to do a delicate balance because if you decrease the respawn time, you obviously have to widen the spawn area, right? And so, because you can't have just people just spawning endlessly on where you're supposed to dunk, you would never be able to dunk ever,
for sure.
And so I think it was the choice Bungie had to make was either, hey, you can spawn halfway across the map, or you can. There's a 6-second respawn timer. I don't know. I've only played probably a dozen.
Both though. There's a 6-second respawn timer, and you spawn halfway across the map.
Oh, I haven't personally noticed spawning halfway across the map. If that's a thing, then I don't know.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
yeah. You can't spawn in the middle.
Dunking, you'll spawn so far away, and it's like, all right, well then it's over. Because
well then yes. If I didn't realize that was a thing, then respawn should definitely be shorter. It's a hard balance. They did this thing with this one where they made it much more like a sports game, where it's like you score and then you reset.
Do you like that reset thing?
We got to talk about this.
I miss old Rift. To be honest, it feels. Does it feel stagnant to you guys?
Bro, let me jump in.
It's weird.
I miss the old rift. That's just me saying it. I do.
I'm with you. That's my issue. Like that respawn just feels so disconnected. It just abrupt. It pulls me out. And look, I get it mechanically because they don't want you after the dunk and the play resumes right after that.
Them. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just like, is it me? And no disrespect, Bungie, if you're listening, but it feels like I get nervous when they pull me out and then they get a black screen and then it loads. And I'm like, yo,
I mean, the tower this season has led me to fear that a little bit, but
bro. And then it's like
crashed the first time.
Yeah, I felt like, yo, is it gonna crash? Like, I'm just
gonna crash.
And those games are long sometimes, bro. So I'm like, yo,
they're
please.
way too long.
Way too long. I'm like, please.
Oh my god! And if they don't hit, if you don't get, they're either 30 seconds or 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
It's
like
a 10-minute match. That's as high as it goes.
Yeah, but if somebody scores really fast, like I've had matches end like that. We just dunked 5 times, and then other times it's like the full 10 minutes, and you're sitting there like, dude, this is not worth. This is not worth it. Yeah.
The reset thing's interesting because it's like, are we playing hockey or basketball? Like what are we trying to be doing here? And I don't know. I get what they were going for, but I also get like why people don't like it because it is very it's stagnating or it just stops. So
hold on, let me get Forte real quick. Listen, I don't hate it from what it's trying to accomplish. I just don't like the way it's implemented. It just feels.
Would you see like a screen pop up with like 2 to 1 and then like fade away like that? You want to see a different screen, not so much like the reset you hate?
It feels like they sending me to orbit.
Okay.
Like it's so abrupt. I understand it. I don't have a problem with resetting from a balance standpoint. But Forte, my only issue is just that part. Then you couple with the fact that when it happened, this was my first experience playing Rift. It happened like in the middle of the match on Bannerfall, and then the spark didn't spawn. And we literally for 5 minutes it was team deathmatch and no spark. And I'm like, I knew this thing was gonna break the game.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have any evidence that that's the reason, but it just feels mechanically spaghetti code-ish. Like, yo, is something wrong? Are y'all going off? All of us are gonna get back to the same spot, please. That's what it felt like. So that's what I wanted to get off.
Yeah. I didn't really have an opinion at first on the Rift holder being able to shoot, but after seeing it in action, I kind of hate it.
They have to stop it because Eager's Edge. It has to be stopped.
Yeah, I agree.
And shoulder charge.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It's so easy. You can Eager's Edge across the map and slam.
Oh my god. It's super bad. People are doing that. I've seen that. Also, like the teamwork of like people having to guard you was a thing in the original Rift, or you try to just make a break for it by yourself. And I think you were a little slower.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, and like this one, like there was clearly a route happening. Like the team that had the ball were all rushing toward us, and our team wanted to fight them. And I was like, I bet you the Rift holder's not there. So I went to the side and I found him. He was going around a secret pass. I was about to cut him off. And then this dude just shoots a Gallarhorn at me. Like, what am I supposed to do? He just had power ammo. I was like, all right. And then he scored, and it's like, all right, well, I had no chance there. And so I feel like it would require more teamwork if that guy couldn't fire. And that is a huge, to me, that the game mode just doesn't feel good just on that alone. It creates
100%. Like I thought the exact same thing, especially when I saw somebody zip and slam. Like I said, another thing that I thought was kind of weird too, and I could be wrong about this. I do need to log into D1 just to confirm it. But I thought in D1 it also tracked the amount of kills people got.
Yeah, because remember, Destiny 1 where it was like a score-based system. So even regular kills, you just got like 100 points or whatever.
Yeah, so exactly. So in this now, and even if like, let's say it doesn't go towards the score per se, like it's not even on the board at the end. So it just felt like there was
the scoreboard is like 3-1-1-2. It's like
it kind of felt bare bones on that front. Like I kind of wouldn't have minded kind of what you were describing there, Skarrow, too, where to a certain degree it's get kills and then also it's slam, because then it gave you that option too of kind of like the catch up a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the reason they stopped it is because a lot of people in Destiny 1 would take it and then hide with because if you defended your Spark Runner, you got more points per kill. And so people would just take it to the spawn and just camp on it.
Maybe a timer is for how long you can hold
yeah,
it.
I don't have the
The
answers,
Spark
but-
does have a timer. I think it's like a minute that you can hold it max. So that
Minute and a
will
half.
minute and a half. Okay, see, I haven't even seen it that much, but yeah, it's like there is a time, but that's a long time for one person to be able to hold that thing. If it was, I don't know, half that maybe. If it was half that, it'd be a little more urgent for you to kind of rush, and then you either got to try and make a run for it or not. I'm with you guys though. It's like I haven't seen the new map, so again, my feeling on this is from the smaller maps, and from what I've seen is like if you peek out and one or two people say on your team get popped quick, then they just can start pushing forward, knock you all down. One person grabs a spark, and then I've not respawned and the spark's been dunked. It's been that fast that they can just literally march through if you get like the bad lobby balance on the team. And I've done everything in freelance. And I don't know how stacks are, but that's the first couple matches I had were awful. I was like, oh God, what have I walked into? And then I played a little bit yesterday, and I had one actually go to sudden death. I finally did experience the triple
the
spark.
3 spark. Yeah.
The 3 spark sudden death. I did finally see that one. That was actually kind of cool. I like that it was reset. There's 3. You're like, all right, this is just going to be chaos. See what happens. I like that if it gets there. I did have one match where it actually felt back and forth, where there was like, here's the guy picking it up. It's like, okay, you see it, and then you go over there. It's like, oh, he dropped it. Okay, so everybody runs over there. He picks it up, tries to go over there, and it was just this little like cat and mouse game running around the entire match for a little while. And actually, like, I like that there was, the point to go for, the objective. Somebody tries to run it, and you don't see where it's at forever. So like, if you say you're going one direction, then you backtrack the other. Like, as you were saying, you could go around. But, of course, as I think you guys are saying, if you are sword skating, and I was trying to even catch a guy who ran, I saw him going in Bannerfall in the middle area, go down, like, not where usually the heavy spawns in the middle, but the far side. I saw him going outside, like, by the patio, like, the balcony area, go outside and beat me to the rift, and I had the inside track because he was freaking dashing all the way through the whole way and just beat me before I could even cover the ground. I was like, how the hell did you get there so fast? So, yeah. The idea of, like, if you had to be a little bit more grounded and you couldn't do anything more than, like, say, primary weapons or something like that to defend yourself, yeah, something on that does need to change. I agree.
Teddy, what's your thoughts on it, man?
All right. Buckle up.
Uh-oh.
Story time, everybody. It's Teddy story time.
I think I can confidently say that I've probably played the most Iron Banner out of all of us here because I'm about to get that
You
title
have.
tomorrow.
You have. Yeah, I saw your progress.
Okay. So I love Rift in D1. It definitely had problems. And I'm glad they finally brought it back. Here's my theory. And I'm going to give you the thesis first, and then I'm going to explain it.
We're getting a dissertation.
I think I'm not that smart. I think that Rift was brought back into the game through Iron Banner rather than labs so they could get more data to test it. I have nothing to back this up other than just some nuances, and like it just feels not polished. Like it's not that Bungie level of polish, especially because it's an established thing. It's not even a new thing. It's something that already exists. So when they redid Gambit last season, they were attempting to solve all these different problems that players over time had figured out how to abuse mechanics or the way players played, and they had this data to back this up. And so in a vacuum, all these changes on paper were good, but collectively it made the experience pretty negative for Gambit. I think most people agree with that. And I think Rift suffers from the same problem. There are all these little things in D1, and probably things are trying to be proactive as well with the transition to D2 because they're so much more powerful that individually they're good changes, but collectively they're not. We touched on this earlier, but one of the big problems is that I figured out within a few hours of playing where exactly I can stand so that they don't spawn in their main spawn. They'll start spawning in the middle of the map, and then my team can just literally walk up and dunk the spark. And that is just not okay. Like I'd rather be spawn killed in my spawn because at least then I have a chance to shoot the person that's running at the thing. As Travis alluded to, or I think he explicitly said it, if you spawn in the middle of the map, that's it. Like you're not making it to get them, and that sucks. The respawn timer is definitely too long. I think if you're the attacking team, like if your team has the spark, one solution that I've seen proposed and that I kind of like is that your respawn timer should be longer, and if you're the defending team, it should be shorter. But you should also have the option to respawn quicker than the timer for revive. So kind of like D1 had this in some game modes where you had the option to revive yourself, but then people.
I think that was skirmish, right?
Yeah,
you're describing. Yeah.
Because I think it's what 12 seconds or 11 seconds. You have to wait to respawn, and that's just a long time. And I'm sure they'll dial that in and they'll figure it out. But so To give you a little data, I played primarily in a 6-stack. I did freelance a little bit. Half of my 6-stacking was with LFG people, no comms. The other half was with friends. And most of the time we were 5-0ing or 5-1ing. It was pretty rare that we lost. My fastest game, I finished with 6 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. So I think it was approximately three minutes of actual gameplay. I think shoulder charge is a bigger problem than Eager's Edge. The Eager's Edge is definitely like good, but you have to have ammo for that. And that's... True. Heavy ammo spawns really awkwardly sometimes, but shoulder charge, you have that up until you use it. So I've seen people pick up the spark and 10 seconds later it's dunked without even the team getting there. Overall, though, I do like the mode. It just has some weird issues.
This is Iron Banner beta phase,
right?
And we're gonna get the updated version.
So do you think that Iron Banner Labs is almost like a lap before they make it a full mode? Do you think eventually Rift won't live just in Iron Banner?
Yeah, well, I mean, they said that. They said it will be a
permanent. So but do you think that's the plan? Like,
yeah. I think they just didn't want to put the Labs label on it because people tend not to play the Labs version. I have nothing to back that up, but just anecdotally, people tend to not participate in that. So by putting it Iron Banner, this big event that everybody plays, it's the second week, you get more data, more people participating. Some of the bugs are really unfortunate, specifically the one where your rep gets capped. I'm really glad I avoided that because if I didn't, the double reset would have been like a nightmare. Otherwise, it only took me like 10 hours to do it, mostly winning, obviously, so it's quicker. But I saw people do it solo, and it's not terribly bad. Something else. Oh, the round thing. I get why they did the reset. I don't like the black screen. I think there needs to be something to score or something. I legitimately thought my game crashed the first time it happened.
Bro, score card would be nice. That works.
With how many times I've been sent to the dashboard on Xbox with this? You know how many bugs this joint got for
Right.
I don't know, Trav. Have you experienced that? Like I've been getting crashes all the time, like hard crashes in the dashboard. Okay,
it's called Season of the Haunted, Cog, for a reason.
Code's haunted.
The last thing I want to get on is the round thing, because I think this is the most significant change to the game mode. I totally understand why they did this, because in D1, there definitely was a snowball effect if you had a competent team where you could just spawn trap them, and I get that. However, other game modes like Headquarters and Call of Duty, and I think maybe even Halo had a similar thing, have a pretty good system for this where there's like a 30-second lull kind of where the positioning of the spark would change. So, and they already have that because of the multi-spark thing. So rather than have it in the center, which only has a 15-second cooldown or 10-second cooldown to start, spawn somewhere else. So that way your teams kind of can regroup. And that way also people can spawn in different areas and it's basically impossible to spawn trap them. Because as it stands right now with a competent team, if you're spawning in the middle of the map, or if you're covering the middle of the map and their spawn, I can watch them spawn in front of me and we'll spawn trap them. Granted, that takes coordination, but that's what they're trying to solve rather than create.
I get it.
The taking away of the score, I think, is the biggest mistake. Like, not that it invalidates people's contributions, but when you're playing in a stack or even individually, there's people that are going to slay, there's people that are going to play the objective, and you kind of marry the two to make the game mode work. And team wiping is another issue where if you wipe, you're pretty much free to score, but I'm sure they'll dial that in. So I would like to see some my kills contribute to the game in some way.
Completely agree.
I agree.
That whether it's either at the end of the game on the scoreboard somewhere, but I'd prefer it to be like an actual score in the game, like D1. And yeah, that's kind of my rant, my 2 cents on that. It's the bones are there. They just need to tweak it a little bit, and I'm glad the Iron Banner title isn't that ridiculous to get. It's literally just a time sink, and you'll get it eventually. There's nothing crazy as a Triumph Hunter. I was really worried that the PvP stuff would eat me alive. So I'm glad that's okay. So thank you. I am a little upset you can't guild it this season, but whatever. Next season, you'll
be okay.
So.
Do you think that was because you only have 2 weeks to do it, and they didn't want to have people like burn themselves out, or do you think it's because the guild's not ready yet? Or
I think they're just spacing the content out personally. I really tried to understand why they did 2 weeks. It seems kind of weird to me because some seasons that are the 3-month seasons have had 3 Iron Banners, some had 4. Typically it's 3, and so it's a little weird to me that they just cut out a whole week, especially towards the end of the season. There's not a lot going on. You're playing, right? And Iron Banner is one of those things that brings people back. So it was a little weird to me to see that. It could be a FOMO thing. They're leaning more into the events now with the triumphs and the event pass thing you got to buy. So we haven't seen that yet, but
I heard about that. Yeah, Solstice.
So maybe it has something to do with that. They're not telling us, but Yeah, it's. I really want it to be good, but it's just not. The new map, honestly, it looks aesthetically pleasing, but it is just not fun to play on. For it feels like a Halo map. It really does. It's just not great for Destiny. Bannerfall and Convergence, I like them. They're fine. They worked in D1. They work in this game. But yeah, that's my spiel.
Gotta get your bars off there.
Yeah, you gotta get the bars.
No,
I mean my therapy, you know.
Yeah,
no, you gotta get it out, man.
That's why we have you on every 20. We used to be every 21 episodes. We probably broke that mold for a little bit, but
yeah, you broke the streak.
No, I mean you guys have covered a lot of it, and I think a lot of them are good points. For me, like the respawn, it feels bad if a couple of people die, then like the 6 steamroll you, and then I'm just sitting there waiting to respawn. No one's reviving me, and then all of a sudden, like I'm still dead, and they dunked. I'm like, I didn't have literally no chance. I was like, that doesn't feel wonderful. But then on the other side, I had the matches that were, I had that one that was like 2-1, like went to time, going back and forth, like that actually felt good, and that was actually on Bannerfall of all maps. Like somehow we had like the freelance group that were probably like lower on the skilled match because nobody was like sword skating around. It's like, all right, everybody bundle up. Okay, now we all died. Okay, everybody, and it was like it felt kind of like it probably is intended to feel because people weren't abusing too many mechanics. It's kind of the way I feel like Gambit could be if it was like whenever we saw them do the Gambit tournament with whatever set loadouts they had before it ever released, when they kind of did that online like tournament 6v6 when they played, or for however many they did, when they did that online stream to like promo it before, that actually looked cool. But now that we have all the, Gallahorn and everything else just abuses it, same thing probably I feel like in here. If it is just like not quite being abused as bad, it actually has some fun back and forth, a little push and pull. But when you get into, get steamrolled, then you can't even respawn fast enough. Somebody's sword skating across the map or shoulder charging, and all those things come into it. You're like, it needs a little bit of tweaks. And again, I'm with you guys. Like the black screen scorecard feels good. That type of would be good. That type of stuff. So it needs some love.
I only ever saw one person eager edging with the spark. It was mostly shoulder. I didn't see that too often either, but shoulder charge was more prevalent than eager. Gotcha. Again, you have to get ammo for it, but it is a problem for sure, or at least I'm at a higher level, obviously.
Yeah.
I think on paper they want it to be this tug of war game, and it does that on paper, but then, like I said, once you get into the nitty gritty of it, it's just really not how it plays, which is unfortunate because again, I think it's a good game mode. It's just they'll get it. They did it with Trials, and they'll do it with this. It just might take them some time. It's unfortunate that it wouldn't launch polished or what we're used to.
Yeah. We got Iron Banana. We kind of got Iron Banana. We got a little bit of a beta phase. We got to work through a few kinks. You got to get underneath it a little bit.
I didn't mention this. The new reward system is like fantastic. Right before we got on this, I turned in my 30 engrams that I got for the double reset, and it's just like Trials, and so it's great. Like it's really awesome that I can just
asking a lot
for them.
For the armor prices, though, man. They asking.
Well,
asking
20,000 glimmer
shards. So
yeah, you live in the shards.
But I understand as if you're not playing too much, or if you're not doing any of the exploits that have come up over the last couple of years to get shards, it definitely is. It's a pricey choice to make. So, yeah. What about you guys? What do you guys all think?
Where you guys at on?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about just the Saladin with his system as far as
rewards, game mode.
I mean, do you think 2 times a season is weird? I know we've got him in the middle where Evil Levante would be, so they would be duking it out over space because they moved him down off his little balcony up there. But it's like it is weird that it's 2, and it feels like if Solstice is in July and we've got August, seems like it's going to be. I don't know what's going to be in August. It feels like right now, and Iron Banner feels like it would fit perfectly there because if Solstice is about 3 weeks and there's some downtime in there, I see no reason not to put one there. So it is weird that they have these 2 pre-Solstice, which is on like July 9th, and then August is going to be just a ghost town, I think, before we get that next season. So it is odd timing, personally.
Yeah, it's odd timing. I think with Teddy, they're still getting data. It almost does feel like it's a work in progress with certain things. But look, I like it. It's back. It's an objective team mode. I've always been a fan of that as opposed to just slay out. It's a good change of pace. With Saladin in the system, he needed an upgrade. I think from the mode itself, I just want to ask CB, like from D1, because I don't remember, did they tell you, like they're giving you now this written queue, Spark Runner, far, imminent. Was that there before? It's been so long. I just don't remember. Was that there?
I think it was. Thing? Or they might have phrased it differently.
I think it was phrased differently, but I think it was similar. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like the sound cue when you know they're getting close. You know what I'm saying? It adds a little
Yeah.
tension to it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. Look, it's a decent mode. It's fun. You just got to make a couple of tweaks. And yeah, I think my overall thing was I was just dreading because LordCognito gotta have that Iron Lord title. So I was just dreading what are they gonna put me through because I really don't title surf. Like I don't hunt like my man Teddy. You know what I'm saying? So I was curious and I was like, oh, this is actually reasonable. This is just like really play and commit. It wasn't nothing crazy. So I'm gonna get it done.
Honestly, Cog, the worst part about it is just making sure you don't get the bug where your rep gets really low.
Right.
Yeah. Don't do the challenges on multiple characters. I think that's
the challenge thing. Make sure I wear the armor suits and the emblem for the extra bonus.
Armor and 4 challenges. Right. Don't go over 4 challenges.
Yep. Don't go over 4. Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, like it's really not. If you're stacking with people, it's not that bad.
Okay. 4 challenges? What do you mean 4 challenges?
The daily challenges.
Yeah, daily challenges.
If you do it on one character, you'll do one a day. But people have been doing it on all characters, and all of a sudden they had like 5 of 4 weekly challenges, and it bugged out. So instead of getting, they were showing like 13 times the rep they were supposed to be getting, but they were getting like 66 a match or something that would take them forever. So they went over, and it broke the math.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah. That's honestly the worst. Like, if you can get past that and make sure you don't bug that out, you're good. Like, it's just commit the time and you'll get it.
Yeah, especially after tomorrow's reset, you'll have the 4th one. So just play some this weekend. It'll be the fastest.
I didn't know you got more rep for the emblem. I need to put that on.
Yep. Emblem.
When you start up Iron Banner, Travis, there's like where the buffs would be in PvE, if you hover over it, it shows you all the buffs you can get and what you currently have.
Yep.
Nice.
And it shows you your current multiplier as well, which is really cool.
Nice.
That is a little inaccurate though, because so I'm the max you can get is 11 if you do all the challenges and all armor and emblem, which means I should be getting around like 700 something rep, but I think on a 5 streak I was getting like 330 something.
Oh.
So
okay,
something's funky. It's still high, but
yeah.
So I probably
less than it should be.
Yeah.
It's my feeling.
Well, so I wanted to end on this wonderful one. We're 2 weeks into the season, so I know it's a little bit early, but this is the first time we've had a dungeon key. So we know that we actually figured out that was $20. Covers this dungeon, covers the one in season 19, and then this season. And I wanted to ask you guys, for somebody out there who may listen to this and be like, hey, is this worth it? What do you guys think? Do you think the dungeon key by itself is worth it? And do you think Season of the Haunted is worth the purchase?
I can start. Because I've been doing a lot of dungeon help, and this is actually one of my most frequent questions. I get it all the time. And at least with me, I mean, especially coming from a development side of it. So it's $10 per dungeon, right? We have this one, and we have another one, season 19. I spent more for my Taco Bell yesterday, and I can never, I can never enjoy it again. I'm realistically, I mean, I was playing Shattered yesterday. I'm realistically gonna be playing this in 2 years. Like, there's just not that many things that I can spend $10 for and still be enjoying it 2 years from now. Like, instead, or even be able to experience again, like in the sense of like, let's just use another example. Movies are getting so expensive these days, going to the movie theater, especially those recliner chairs. I go spend $20 for the movie. And then after I've watched it, it's not like I get to go home and I come back to the theater the next day. I'm like, oh, yeah, I spent the $20. Let me go watch the movie again. They're like, nah, like, where's that?
You gotta subscribe to HBO, wait for that.
Yeah, subscribe to HBO, buy the Blu-ray, buy whatever, Peacock, whatever, or go buy the movie again and sit back in your recliner chair again. Like, for me, it's like, I mean, I just, there's so many other things we spend money on that we never can touch again. There's so many things. Legit, yesterday when I was doing dungeon help, I went and got some jalapeno poppers. I wish I could teleport those back from yesterday and eat them again. I can't. They're gone. There's so many things that we spend money on that we experience so shortly and then it's gone. But for some reason, like with gaming, it seems like that's like kind of lost. For me personally, the development costs money. I maybe I'm biased because I've been a developer for a while. It's like I just feel like, I mean, for $10, this is one of the best $10 I could buy. I mean, it's kept me already, more engaged than most things I spend $10 on in my daily life do. And that's just personally, it's just, I don't know. There's not a lot of $10 things. And so if people can give me examples, it'd be great, but I just don't have that many things. I don't have that many things I spent
now,
for $10.
Yeah, this dungeon's cheaper than a gallon of milk or a gallon of gas, apparently. No.
Yeah, and true. Yeah, true. And I just can't get multiple enjoyment out of things that I usually spend for that price. And for me, you know, with my time, I think $10 is fine. You know, whatever. Skipped my jalapeno poppers once. I'll be okay. And that's usually what I tell people. Usually what I tell people.
Travis looks like he's bubbling.
Yeah. I hate this question.
Okay.
I hate it. And the reason I hate it is because money means different things to different people. If you're homeless,
true.
it's not worth $20. You definitely
true.
shouldn't buy it because you're not, you know, you should be spending the money on something else probably. And two, it doesn't speak to the qualitative properties of the game. People like to say like, "Oh, Travis, you're being so hard on this game. It's only $10." It's like, okay, but its price does not at all affect how good of a game it is, right? And so I always try to focus on, is the game good? How good is it? How not good is it? Etc. What are its pros and cons? Not, is it worth the money? Because to me, the money is separate. There are some free games that are better than Destiny Season of the Haunted. Apex Legends is one of them. You can go play that game for free. You don't have to spend any money on it, right? So once we start getting into, is the money worth it? I kind of just go, I don't want to talk about it. For me, it's worth it for my current financial situation and the fact that I enjoy Destiny, but it's such a hard question to just like broadly answer.
That's fair.
If you're a child and you get $10 allowance a year or whatever, probably not, you know, save it maybe. But yeah, it just really depends on what your situation is. And I'll answer the question that I want to answer, which is it good? And my answer would be just the dungeon, just the season pass. What are we doing?
I think we're doing the dungeon right now. I answered for the dungeon. I'm sorry. I was for the dungeon. I would say if I answered it your version, I'd say it's good. If I'm switching mine.
So dungeon key is this dungeon and one we haven't seen.
So this dungeon and one we haven't seen, I'll say, having only seen 50% of it, it's sitting at maybe a 7 out of 10. Good, not great. That's my
okay.
verdict.
And if I answer in that standpoint, then I'm at least, I think, closer to, like, I'd say probably, I'd say I'm closer to a 9 right now, at least currently. But that might be recency, so I'll say 8.5 and see how I'm feeling in a month. But I think I'll start off with an 8.5 basis to 9, somewhere in between.
Anybody else?
Same.
Skarrow.
Yeah.
Skarrow.
I think you'd have to jack the price up quite high to reach a part where I'd be like, no, I'm not paying for it. Like, I mean, for us, it's also a tax write-off, right? I'd drop $100 on it. But yeah, of course, if I spend $10 for a season pass for some dumb cosmetics I'll never use, fuck yeah, I'll drop $10 for a dungeon. Like, hell yeah, you know. So.
Okay, fine. Travis had a better way to go about it. Give it a that 1 out of 10 rating.
Yeah, same as CB, 8.59. With the asterisks of plus or minus 1 for recency bias.
Yeah, we'll come back to it in a month and see what.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Ready?
We're just doing the dungeon, right? Not
just the dungeon.
Pass? Yeah, I'd say it's about an 8. I think a lot of it always boils down to how you value replayability. Mm-hmm. Obviously, everyone, when it comes to money, like Travis said, I was thinking the same thing. Value is defined differently for everyone, so it's a hard question to answer, or everyone will answer it differently. But in terms of gameplay, I think it's good. But there's a lot of players that play the dungeon once, play the dungeon twice, and they're done. And to them, once they've seen it, that's it. And then there's people like us that are going to grind it forever and get the best possible role or whatever it is, get all the triumphs, And so to me, yeah, of course it's worth $10 because, I'll play it 100 times. But yeah, it's just good. I have different problems with the pricing structure, which we've talked about ad nauseum previously.
Multiple pricing structures.
Yeah.
Pricing structures, plural.
Yeah. Phases of money.
When we get to the season pass, I have a lot to say, but yeah, I give it an 8. I think it's good.
God.
Yeah, I mean, in agreement with Teddy. It's an 8. It's an 8. It's very solid. If it's just the dungeon itself with the thought of another one coming with the key, right? That's good. This is great value. The dungeons are some of the best end game content in Destiny. I don't think the designers get enough credit. The devs don't get enough credit for the work. And here's the thing. I know we give them a lot of thing, but it's hard to satiate a community that is seen as much as we've seen and is played as long as we play, and to keep us satisfied. I have to give them credit because I'm thinking about, if I got to make a game and I got this group that is very temperamental and very like, yo, we see that already. Like, oh, come on, you did that. You brought that. Like that's really disheartening. Like, if you really a dev, like, I could understand it. And I always give them props for creativity. I feel weapon design, for the most part, and feel second to none. The way the game looks aesthetically. And I don't think the narrative team, like, look, I remember this was Flashpoint.
Yeah.
We used to be like, yo, this story, they got a great story. And it's like, why is it trapped in Grimoire? And why is it? And we're at a point now where I think we're a little selfishly like comfortable with how good the story is now. Like, it was never this good. Like, people used to clown me like, Destiny has no story, has no lore. Like, what are you talking about? And now you can safely say that when you play a dungeon and I'm getting the narrative bits and I'm actually caring about Callus and how he feels and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at with it. I think, the content itself from a dungeon standpoint, it's great. It's 8. I think the next one's probably going to be great as well. So I'm not even worried about it. Now, if we're talking about Season of the Haunted, comparatively to other seasons, that's where my score going to be low. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the dungeon, yes, this is great. Solid content. I think they pretty much knocked it out of the park. Even with recency bias, I felt, I was like, this feels fun when I'm playing this. I like what I'm playing. I'm enjoying it.
I give it a 7 because I've lived outside of the bubble of Destiny probably more than most people on this panel. And I can't get over some of the old stuff they keep doing. And all the stuff that they're not doing, like champions, like the fact that we still don't have Lucent Hive or some sort of new endgame type enemy. That stuff just bothers me. But everything that they did that you expect, I like.
That's fair. That's fair. And me and you in alignment with Lucent Hive and how they changed the game and that true threat. Now, me and you.
I think every Destiny hardcore, I think, is over champions.
Skarrow and I talked about that for an hour. So
yeah.
Where you're at is like where me and you align is the Witch Queen really set the bar with the mechanical change, that fear, and then to go get the ghost, put yourself in harm's way. That fundamentally changed how Destiny's played, and it's just going to be interesting now for them to try to do it again without being bound to the narrative Lucent Hive, right? How are they gonna, say like, that's a challenge they gotta have to figure out. But where you at, man? Is it worth it?
Well, just wait before he goes, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Before, like, to that point, I mean, there are brand new enemies introduced in this dungeon. I've never feared a non-sentient backpack so much in my entire life.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the Incendior backpacks, Travis, they'll just sit around everywhere, and they just blow up all the time.
Can I give you guys a piece of advice on that? Now, I know it's not the most efficient thing. Everybody goes in with the lament, slashes him to death, and he's done. It's totally fine. Have one person use Xenophage on all those guys, and that stuff blows up, and you never have to worry about it.
Even easier, don't even use the heavy. Just use Arbalist. Arbalist one shots.
Just bomb it.
Just RB everybody in the back. That's all I do. And then I do Storm Chaser, Arbalist, and it's just everything.
Linear on the back. I was like, I've been using Xenophage just to bomb everything. But if you can blow those things up, you'll be right. That was one of mine. I was soloing it earlier and was on that part of the fight, and all of a sudden I'm like, why did I? And you see the little thing up in the top corner, and you're like, you're not even a guy. You're just this thing on the floor.
And it's like half the time when they're on the ground, they explode, and half the time they don't. Like, if you deliberately shoot them, it's like sometimes they'll explode and sometimes they won't. And it's just like,
the accidental teleports are so brutal, too. Something too close to the bell. Literally, you sneeze on it. Next thing you know, your
fuses be setting them off. Wave frame, set it off.
Waveframe, you got to be very careful where you put stuff.
Breakers.
And it's like all of that'll set it up, but Tractor Cannon won't. Like, if you're doing the Titan Hammer build,
the hammer, you can throw it at it, it doesn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, it doesn't do a thing. It doesn't do a
my
thing.
Grenade does.
But if the hammer is next to it and it blows up, that will set it up if you don't pick it up.
It was like when you go to break the chains for the guys, if some of the shielded guys are walking around and you hit those in the shield explosion, I feel like that sets off the chains and sends them into a damage phase before I'm ready. So you got to be very particular with when you get ready to do certain things of where you're going around, but it's very fun and I enjoy it, but also there are moments when you're looking at a guy or you're looking and there's nobody there and all of a sudden it's teleport or they teleport away and you're just going, all right, something's still not quite right here.
Yeah.
Some of the teleports of the enemies are showing, as you guys have said, and we've said it for a while. It's like it's just showing to where it's either net or code or backend. Something is just like I'm looking at, and now he's over here. I'm like, how? No. And then the fact that it's just there's a couple moments like that. And I was playing with a couple guys earlier, but it's the point where you're sitting on the little platform. And you're like, okay, I'm on the right one. And then it resets you back to the front. And you're like, hold on, I got to reorientate the room. And you're not quite sure where you were before.
Yeah.
So a couple weird bugs and stuff will throw you off. But overall, it's like I'm having a blast in it. I will solo it. I'll solo flawless it. I almost actually wasn't too far from that earlier. It's definitely doable. Like I'm 1272, 1271. I'm not that high. It's definitely doable. Master, more power. That'll take me a little while to put a group together for that one. But I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I was like, I think it's worth the value. These things always are easily probably some of my favorite content because they're built to be soloable. You can definitely, and this one especially, as you guys said, we got dungeon weapons, and I gotta say, these weapons,
aesthetic. Whew.
The look of the weapons is fantastic. And as you said, we got a brand new linear type. I got a Feeding Frenzy Rampage of the Void SMG. Like, that was my first drop. So I'm just like,
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and lock you and save you in the vault. And then I got the Pulse Rifle, and it's absolute trash. So that made up for it.
What's the pulse? What's the pulse?
It's
What
Stasis.
type?
It's a Stasis high impact pulse. It's the one that can get Desperado.
Yeah, it can be good. It can be decent.
My roll was garbage. There's going to be better. Mine was just junk.
I got the Lingering Dread grenade launcher, blinding.
That kind of auto blinding. I really want that. I haven't.
Yeah, I got it with blinding and Vorpal, and it's nice. And then couple it with that intrinsic origin perk that if you get damaged, the reload is faster.
Well, it can roll with auto loading as well. So
And chill clip.
yeah,
that's what I
Oh,
really
it can come with chill clip.
Yep.
Chill clip.
Yeah,
auto
yep,
and blinding.
yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
That's the rule.
This is this conversation just reminded me of something that I think is really strange. And we're talking about the prices we would pay for the season and what it is and stuff. And one thing that we didn't discuss, and I haven't heard anybody discuss, is the fact that Nightmare Containment, the seasonal event, is free for everyone.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so it's like when you buy the season, you're paying for the season pass and the Sever missions, and I think that's it.
Really?
And Solar 3.0 is for everybody too, right?
Yeah, Solar 3.0
So
is for everybody.
that is a good question. So what
The
is
vault spaces are for everybody.
Well,
so
that's why,
it's
the deluxe is the way to. I mean, if you're gonna buy, if you're gonna play Destiny,
it sounds like
if you're gonna play Destiny for over the course of the coming year at all, the $40 deluxe has been far worth it. It has the dungeons in there, it has the seasons, and that's why again it's like you gotta figure out what $40 is. But if you're gonna play this game over the course of an entire year and put hundreds of hours in, or however much, even if you play a few days, like a few hours a weekend, that's still gonna be 100 hours over the course of a year. As you guys were talking about, a movie's $20 for 2 hours. So all of those numerical values, again, you got to figure out what's worth it. But that is the idea. If there is any foresight to it, they do steer you into the bundle, but the bundle for what you get in there is actually a very good value, depending on, when you start breaking things apart, it tends not to be, but if you do the bundle, it is actually quite good.
it sounds like you just get the season pass though. To this point,
No, you're definitely right. I'm with you. So yeah, breaking it down, you're right. Like I feel like if you don't get them all together, it is kind of it's a little more bare bones individually.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes my take or my stance even a little more jaded, because this season to me kind of sets a really bad precedent of you can charge $10 for a thing that we had previously, and if we just change it a little bit.
Well, that's why I think that's kind of the theory of why they didn't charge for it, why it is free, because they've previously gone on they've gone on record saying anything that's coming back from the DCV, Destiny 2 or Destiny 1, you won't pay for it.
Okay.
And so the whole Leviathan Patrol Zone, that's free. Anyone can access that. The Nightmare Containment, which is on it, anyone can access that.
Okay,
and so
free. Okay.
So you're basically paying for the story.
The story and the season pass.
You pay for Sever.
Yeah, that's it.
And can you get the seasonal weapons without the season pass? So I'm not talking about. Are those available?
You can get the Menagerie ones for free. You cannot get the 6 brand new seasonal ones.
So you could get Offstringer for free at the moment. Right?
Yes, okay. and Beloved and all of those.
But you can't get like that new Trace rifle on the Rocket and like all those.
Correct. Yeah. No, not the new Glaive, not the new Pulse or Scout or whatever the hell it is.
Here they are.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I've been dealing with it ever since. Skarrow, have you been dealing with it too?
Yeah, it's really annoying because it's the same name, so it seems like it should be really easy.
I talked to my YouTube manager yesterday. They're trying to do, like, at least from what I've heard, they're trying to. I either recommended it. They need to have Like, we have the banned words filter in the community.
Yeah.
Banned words for account names.
Yeah.
Or they need to have some sort of approval for names.
Have you guys tried just going to their channel and commenting on their stuff? Let's just do that.
Yeah, click on the link. Go ahead and click on the link.
Yesterday, wet Destiny takes over at the last word. Join at Ebontis.
I'm gonna start fucking doing that. That's so good, actually.
As sad as it was yesterday, I put things in sub only, and then the bot started subbing.
I've had my chat
for it.
I've had my chat and sub only for the better part of a year because of them.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, and it's it's really.
If they sub,
really
you can
annoying
still
'cause
hide them if they're subbed, right?
Yeah. And no, it wasn't. Yeah, yesterday when I was in or 2 days ago, they weren't even all of these that you guys are seeing. It was just all racial stuff. It was just it's just frustrating.
Really?
We just jumped over to Twitch. I just was tired of it.
Yeah, and it's the longer your stream goes, the more frequent they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They do tend to jump in towards the end of our podcast. That actually makes sense.
IOP. Yep. It's right towards the end.
Hopefully they'll get on it soon.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, it's been a problem for years, on and off.
But they used to be in the comment though. Was the difference? Remember back when we were streaming back in the day, it was easy to get them because we could do the word filter, but now they've gotten a little smarter.
I used to filter emojis because of that.
Same.
It was like
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're evolving. They're becoming shittier, and it's even when you ban them, they're stupid. They're stupid words. He literally has the word "fuck" in his name. How is that allowed?
That doesn't. I don't know how.
I'm so with you.
YouTube hopefully gets there, and again, that's the thing. If YouTube can actually get there and rival Twitch, we'll see. But
or maybe we should check out what they got on.
All right, that's your next review for us. Let us know. Okay.
Travis comes back 1 out of 10.
I'm done.
Well,
so when your computer is ridden with viruses and different things, I know a guy that you can hit up and he'll take care of it for you.
Make sure you clear those cookies in that internet history, so you'll be fine. Well. This is our last episode before GCX. Very excited for GCX. Skarrow, sorry you are not going to be there, but definitely look forward to seeing you next year. Yeah, we will definitely go next year. This year should be a ton of fun. If you are going to GCX, look for any of us, obviously. I'll be wearing an Ebontis shirt. I'm having a couple of them made for me. You're going to find Tie Guy Travis in a suit because he doesn't
know. I'll be wearing Destiny ties, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, you'll have to...
Can you wear your own merch? Is that allowed?
No, that's how I knew E was E when I saw
I literally wore my own shirt.
Because before
he wore his cheetah furry outfit.
Because that was
I'll just wear the cheetah costume
with the paper fire, the paper mache fire.
I think we met before I ever even was on the podcast. And I think
I met you at
we met at
I met you at like the table in the dining area, and I was like,
we talked for I was like, yo, So
but that's what I did last time because I wasn't nearly as I've grown some, but I was like, I'm not nearly as big as you guys anyway. But it's like I didn't know that many people, so I was like, I put Ebontis right on my shirt. So if somebody's like, oh, I've seen that, like a couple people recognized me that way. But it's like I got Ebontis on the front and the last word on the back. So because we got to wear masks too.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna label me. That's all I was doing. It worked last time, so I figured I'd do it again.
No, it did, and I remember too. The reason I knew you was those like first like whisper videos, like because like how much we're doing with those things popped completely off. Like who's the big guy? Let me go check him out. So
no, that whisper video. If I ever get a video that big again, I will be ecstatic because that one is
It's really weird because for all three of us, whisper was the start.
Big. It was the thing. Whisper did a whole lot, and it was funny, Skarrow, because it was funny the day it came out after all the looking for it. Because I remember every day I was looking for it, but then the day it was out, I was actually on a work thing in Richmond, so I had you up when you were going through it on the day, and I was so jealous. I was like, "Be home!" It looked so fun. I was just like, I remember because I didn't get to play it till that weekend. I think it was Sunday. I had you up,
man. We need that. Bunch of secret missions, please. Back.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute now.
None of this Presage shit. It's fun. It doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. It's not the same. Okay.
100%. It's not the same.
So yeah.
So yeah, that is where we will be next week. Travis, Cog, and I might try and record a actual live episode. That is the goal, is to have 200 officially be a week later, but it's going to be our live one.
What day are you guys getting there?
I'm going to be there Wednesday evening.
What day is that number wise? I'm going to be there the 8th, so I just don't know what day that is.
I think you and I are arriving on the... Yeah, yeah.
You guys are arriving on the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm on the 9th.
I'll be the 8th.
Yeah, so it's like at some point I need to make a giant Discord group or just DMs and stuff. Like if you're there, hit me up or tag me or something. But yeah, I'll be there Wednesday. Thursday will be a chill day kind of stuff. Like, yeah, and then Friday more and more people will be showing up.
Nice. Nice.
All right, well, you guys have anything else that you want to drop while you're here on the show for this week, at least, before we kind of wrap things up?
Anybody got anything else? Cooking?
Nobody talk at once? Cool. Okay. All right. So no, but it's like, as we outro, I just want to say thank all three of you gentlemen for showing up today. It's an absolute pleasure to get everybody's takes, and had an absolute blast with this. Might try and do a bigger group occasionally more often, because this was a lot of fun. This was fun.
Yeah,
definitely a blast. So at this point, the table is, or the floor, I should say, is yours. CB, if you want to go first, just let everybody know where to find you, what you've been doing, and what you got cooking.
Same places for the most part. YouTube, CbGray, Twitch, same thing. I've been streaming a lot more lately. I've had a little more time to kind of focus on the channel. So definitely we'll be doing as much help as we can, and just enjoying new things as they come, and just hanging out. I'll be at GuardianCon if any of you guys are going to be there. I'd love to see y'all. And other than that, just keep supporting these amazing guys.
Or Skarrow.
Skarrow9, YouTube, Twitter. Yeah, that's good stuff.
How are Skarrow 1 through 8 doing?
I actually had to kill them. It's like a ritualistic sacrificing. I grew up in.
You're like Cade 6, huh?
Yeah,
no, it's different than that. It's like
the Jet Li movie 1. You had to kill the other one of you in the multiverse.
Yeah. I grew up in like the boonies, right? But deep south, and we had this like cult thing, and it was like you have to kill your siblings. Skarrow 1 through 8.
You were in the Far Cry 5 cult. Got it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
somebody says Scream said it's like Highlander. I'm done.
There can be only one. Skarrow9 is the one that survived. Yes.
Yeah, so Skarrow9's the best, and of the Skarrows,
of course,
or I don't know, and yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited. I got things I'm excited for, but nothing I'm doing. Cool music coming out. Motionless and White has a new album tomorrow. It's fantastic.
Yeah, if you want some music follows, go follow this guy.
Yeah, if you like metal, because I'm an elitist about that. If you like country, fuck off. But
to our country listeners,
no censor, nothing. Just if you like this, see ya. I am not your guy.
Like I said, I grew up in the boonies. I still kind of live in the boonyish area, and man, nothing pisses me off more than loud country music. I can't stand it, dog. Makes me shudder.
Hey, our country numbers are sinking right now. We gotta save it.
Hey, that's not an audience.
What about quiet metal music?
That's fine. No,
okay.
I like ambient stuff. It's fine. Whatever.
Just everything loud country, I'm sure.
Or loud.
Country.
Just played because you don't like loud country specifically. So.
Oh, like quiet country?
Quiet country?
No, that's worse.
No,
that's called
that's worse.
That's Nickelback.
Okay,
right?
so here we go. Elevator music, country.
Elevator music. That's not even close.
See,
I'm just checking.
Elevator
music. I'll stand with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Hey, look, we got another one of those.
They're back. Yeah.
Then we're in. Oh,
okay.
We're in.
Wow.
We're in. Look at that offer.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I've got a meeting to go catch with these guys.
Aggressive.
So.
Yeah.
If they just send me an email and they were like, "Hey, would you do an ad read?" I'd do it. Like,
would you shill for the sponsor? They're gonna hop over to your
I think these guys have something on the IGN homepage. I'm pretty sure.
I'm done.
Like, it's the main banner across the top of the website.
Oh man, dude, I'd take it. Whatever. I've turned down like all sorts of ad stuff. Do you guys get those advertisement offers from the silver people?
So I got that yesterday.
AO or whatever.
I don't know how many times I have to email those people back, like go away. You know, like
I've put it on like the thing that's supposed to not be able to get through the send, but they get through. Like you're supposed to go to spam, and they still go to email.
And I get the ones for
.cz.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I get all the ones for the recovs too, and they're like 80% of our business are Sherpas. We only do 20% recovs now. And it's like, wow, you guys are only 20% assholes. And then 80% also assholes for charging people for running them through content. Like, get the hell out of here, dude.
Yeah. Savages.
So if Naked HD offered to promote, at least I support sex work. That's fine. I would totally do an ad read for that.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep in mind next account I make for him.
Nice. Okay.
just trying to promote my YouTube account.
Teddy, if you can follow that, good luck.
Yeah, I got nothing. You can follow me at Teasing Teddy on Twitter. I'm usually just trolling friends and coworkers, and then pulling my hair out when I'm getting max triumph score because I'm
are you a max triumph score?
Oh, he is.
Are you too?
Yes.
Yes.
What, brother?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, hold on. So tangent here. I was actually gonna bring this up, and then we got sidetracked, and then I just remembered.
Let's go.
So getting max triumph score has kind of been this chore now for a while. And
sure.
It's the same, as you probably know. It's the same kind of. I think last time I checked before the season was 94 people that have gotten it. But I don't think they really communicate with each other. So I want to set up a way that we could all
max triumph score Discord.
I mean, I'm in a clan of like 20, 30 people with max triumph score. So I don't.
Okay, how do I play with you guys? Because I just need like-minded people because I love my friends and I love my clans,
dude. Shoot me a Discord friend invite and I'll invite you to the server. We have Triumph Discord set up, dog.
I just need like-minded people who are.
We got real Illuminati.
Hey,
there you go.
Hey, look, if you don't have max triumph score, I have a Discord server where we make fun of people who do. That's all we do. We just kind of watch them post about max triumph score, and then we just kind of comment on it and go, "Dude, no live touch graph."
Okay, hey, so, Travis, how does this make you feel?
What is it? It's gonna be all the pins. That's be all the pins.
You like that? Wait.
I also have them.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that too?
More of them too.
Okay,
I'll send you my wife says this makes her feel good. Okay.
Makes me feel sorry for you.
Don't feel bad. I also own all of them. So it's fine.
Dude,
well, I'll say this about you. You guys are great at supporting charities. Bungie Foundation. Great.
There we go.
Positive spin.
There we go. Alrighty, dude. But for sure, shoot me a Discord invite, and I'll get you in all the servers.
Oh my god, you have no idea how happy I am. I thought I was just alone. I was just one of 94, being like, "This is it. Like, I'm gonna die or I'm gonna get it."
There's dozens of us, dude. There's dozens.
This is the culmination. This is the culmination of the podcast right here. We put Skarrow and Teddy
together. It's over.
This is
over.
Okay. I was gonna say this after the podcast, but I have watched some of your videos, and the only videos I've watched from you are the ones where you go on the Chinese websites to get those crazy emblems, because you have the cleanest videos on what to click on and what not to click on, and that's why I know you.
Hey, dude, I'll take it. I mean, I make them,
man.
Those videos are so much better than I know. I mean, no disrespect to anyone else, but like yours are just so much cleaner than everyone else's. And it's like, all right, I'm not gonna get anything shady watching this video. Like, I know what I'm getting when I click on this.
Oh man,
no weird sponsors in the Skarrow's chat.
I mean, hell.
I mean, not yet.
Sponsors. I have a sexy voice.
Naked HD, hit me up, baby.
I'm typing the email right now.
Anyway, you can follow me at Teasing Teddy. I post all the crazy Triumph things I do, and one day it'll be over and I can exit this room and go touch grass or whatever the young kids say these days. So congratulations on 200 episodes, or 201, however you want to phrase it. I think that's incredible. Eventually you'll surpass Fireteam Chat, and maybe I can actually exist outside of this like pseudo podcast space where the collective conscious allows me to be real. So thank you as always, and congratulations.
Love.
Travis? I was like, after all of that, I'm just like, it's Ebontis.
I think I'm still processing that someone with max triumph score has a wife, but anyway, Let's
Fair enough.
my promotion. I'm just
There are
messing with you, buddy.
dozens of us, Travis.
There's dozens of us.
Dozens, bro.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm not alone
right,
anymore.
We made Teddy is so I don't know if any of
He's
you
so
guys
happy. I'm
listening.
listening to
You
this
don't know.
happen.
You can't see the expression if you're listening to
Yes.
audio.
Yeah.
Go check out the end of this episode. Teddy is actually like visually happy right now.
I
Yeah.
And this is not
I
a
love
common
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
man.
discovered
I've
a kindred
experienced my
spirit.
pain, and they're real.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Anyway,
You can follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis if you haven't done that already and you want to see just my trash takes. You can watch the Bitcast show. I do every Sunday. I have one in mind today to make fun of Dan, but I'm not going to do it because it's too hard. And you can also join my Discord where we make fun of max triumph score people, and you can watch all of my content on IGN.com. Got previews, reviews coming up next week for Mario Strikers, and that's it for me, guys. I will see you all at GCX. I'm looking very much forward. My first GCX. I could never go in the past because I had to go cover E3 for the site, and E3 is not happening this year. So
E3's dead.
E3's dead. Hashtag dead game.
Man.
So yeah,
Games.
dead games. So yeah, I'll be there, and McClunky, and thanks for watching, everyone.
Legend. Tyga. Yeah, man. You already know what it is. Listen, 201, so to speak, right?
Too.
You know, let us podcast, man. It's just fun. It's just friends talking about what we love. This fraternity. Well, we're not in the VIP section of the fraternity as some, but it's love. I love this show and to see where it's going. And once we had, Travis on and taking it to the next level. But yeah, this one meant a lot because again, all three of you represent, kind of where we are, were. And then also Skarrow for the name. I'm never gonna forget that. Like that was so cool. He was like, "Yeah, man, you guys."
I was just looking at that because I was curious, and we made it to episode 49 with it before.
Yes.
Yeah, I gave you guys the name. So you guys have gone 4 times as long as we ever did. So,
Bro.
oh yeah.
Always love for that. Always love for that. And CB, man, the
Yes,
young
sir,
legend.
you already know. You the goat.
Young legend. You know what I'm saying? Seeing you out here, it's gonna be dope. And Teddy, man, that's family. Teddy's family has been there from the beginning, and it's cool. And I'm excited to finally meet Trav in the flesh. Give him a big hug.
you guys haven't met in person?
No,
Oh,
my
haven't met
first time.
Travis.
Me and
Yeah.
Travis gonna meet
Teddy
Trav.
was really surprised that I'm 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
He towered me. I'm 6'1", and I was like, dude, what the heck?
Yeah.
I can't believe they make suits that big.
So I'm guessing.
I look like if Slender Man got a day job. That's my aesthetic. Yeah.
And E, you know where it started at, brother. You know, it
Oh
started
yeah,
at
GCX
love, brother.
2016.
2016. That,
Outside in the damn parking lot, passing out our
That
business
damn-
cards. Yep.
Yep, Tampa Heat smoldering.
Oh,
but that's
God,
gonna be
it
fun.
was- Yep.
I'm excited, man. Yeah, y'all know me, LordCognito. Check out the Finally Duke. We got some good episodes there with the Xbox 2. Iron Lords podcast on Sunday. Check that out. It'll be a big one. Do a prediction show. Of course, LordsOfGaming.net, the writers, everybody doing a lot of Destiny content. Good jobs. Good job, guys. Good job. And also, of course, I love the support and seeing everybody in the chat for the last word. It's really fun. So salute. Love.
For me, yeah. Thank you, CB. Thank you, Skarrow, Teddy, Travis, Cognito. Thank you, everybody in chat, and thank you for everybody who's listened at any point along the way. This thing started in the middle of, Curse of Osiris, the best time to start anything Destiny related. So we are a little crazy, and we have made it this far. And next week, hopefully, we will officially record episode official 200. We want to do that in person. Timing almost made it, but didn't quite. So yes, I mess with the numbers, but I'm looking forward to it. But thank you, all of the legends, for joining us all the way across the way, but also for this group tonight. This was an absolute blast having you guys on here. You never quite know how a group of friends is gonna like mix up, and I think this one was like, this was magical. This
It was good
fabulous.
talk. We had a lot of really good conversation. I feel like
Yeah,
this
it's
was
a
fun.
family reunion. Also,
So-
real quick, you forgot, we got to shout out our brother Amaze for making
Yes, dude.
music video.
That was
Bungie
so
thing. That was
good.
fire. And
Dude,
he's another one.
Bungie shelling out some big bucks for that too. That production was
good.
The production was
crazy.
insane. Yeah, it
The
was
sound
dope.
production, I imagine they like their sound designers, or they outsource some sound designers too, and it sounded great, crisp. It
Oh,
looked
yeah.
great. I would kill to work with someone on a capacity like that.
Yeah, and then to
it's
have the
absurd.
video like at the same time,
At the
like
same
coordinating
time.
coordinating every
Yeah.
single thing, like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
animate it. It was
Yeah.
top tier. It was top tier.
Salute to Amaze.
Yeah,
man.
it
He's
was
another one.
very good. Yeah, GG's to Amaze for doing that. And Bungie, you know, I love how Bungie empowers creators like that. Like supports them, builds them up. You know, this is something that Amaze can now put on his professional resume
Yeah.
and point to, and like he almost certainly got paid for it. And that's like good on Bungie for having the resources
Yes.
and the willingness to do something like that to bolster someone's career while, you know, obviously supporting their own product and stuff. But awesome stuff, really cool stuff, and it's something that you only see from Bungie, really. So
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
By far the best community. I'm going to die on that sword with Bungie. Because of this game, look what it was, how it's connected all of us on so many levels. Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
Well, don't miss the episode on July 7th because he'll be here.
Oh, there you go.
I got him scheduled before I was like, no, we had him on the show. I've always liked trying to pop into his streams and stuff. He's just honestly ultra nice dude, great chat, and happy to see that for him, and happy to see the success for all of our guests on the show. So thank you very much, everybody. We are going to wrap this one up here. So this is going to be very unconnected, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys very much for being here for this journey and for this episode. It has been
The
last
word.
Last word.